Let's see if this is happening. It is.
We're live, people. We're live.
Almost feels like a Harry Potter vibe to it too. Hello, hello. Ooh. Oh man.
Sounds very what's that dance of the what's it, fairy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kinda.
Disney sort of a thing.
Yeah, in a way.
We got anybody in?
Not yet. That's situated.
Let's G them up on the Telegram. See what happens now, sir.
All right. Good things, everyone. I'm gonna shut that one down. I do like it.
Larissa says the chat is blocked, Thomas.
The chat is blocked.
Yeah.
I just popped on it. There we go. I got Ruby in. Let's share us here. Cool. Hello.
I can't see the chat because I'm on, but and I'm having to keep an eye on Telegram. So.
No, hey, you navigate as well as you need to, brother. I am not in any demanding demeanor at all. It's nothing but good things today.
Good things.
Alrighty.
Alexa's in. I am on the chat.
Hey.
Hi, Alexa. Missed you, honey.
Sweetness.
Hi, Cher. Hi, Ruby Ann.
Yep. Hello. Oh man, the good things today. So
Mark's in the house.
Get some folks in, and then we're gonna discuss lots of stuff to discuss, but good things. I haven't experienced any necessarily negative things over the last couple of days for the energy work that's been going on.
No,
but
me either.
The amount of healing and activation that has happened in I would say the last even 36 hours.
Yeah,
it's just been
undeniable.
Yeah, like so. I already gave you a recap. If you allow me to indulge the chat and the group to get caught up to where you are, if you can bear with it one more time. We had, we collective, but over the last day, I've done a lot of energy work, and I went home and stayed with mom and dad for a little while. And like y'all know that the other day I shared that my book is now in my hands, and it's
how does that feel?
Oh man, better than the energy work, I gotta say, just because it's like the love I've given back to myself. The creation and
tangible.
Yes, the creation and the holding of it, like and it's something I've longed for for a while. And it's funny, I've always mocked those authors that are like, it takes 10 years to write a book, and I'm like, I've been writing a book and I have everything in my head. 10 years later I've realized it takes 10 years to write a book, just because you have to write the story and then widget it down section by section so you can make books.
So you can fatten it up again.
Right. Oh man, so it's a beautiful thing. It's like one of the made it tangible. So along with that, though, I've been doing a lot of things for me in the growth field and healing and practice. And I've offered it to my family. And yesterday with my dad and my mom, or my dad yesterday, and then uh, my mom today and this morning. So like I did just a really good healing session on my dad last night, and it got me to the point where it made me rest. Like, I cleansed myself. I was able to keep functioning, but there's something just pulling me, and it wasn't heaviness. It was just a profound sense like you need to lay down just right now. Just go lay down. And I did, but it kept me in like this delta state. I was in that more ethereal body, but I was, physically aware. And we had a big lightning storm and just a big storm come through, but it was like this cleansing storm. And that's really the big thing of today is the amount of healing and cleansing that's happened in the shifts and light activations. And I was watching the lightning. I was like called to watch, and uh, just powerful, and it was manifesting. And like it was just just it was like signals of awe and inspiration that were coming through. So this morning I rested, I woke up, and I was able to even like, I don't know, this morning around 3, in between 3 and 4, it was like I was just pure vibration. I had to get up and move around even. And it was like in tandem in that weird after image of self. Like my physical body was moving, but it was like I was seeing my etheric body move before it. And it was like this weird spiraling flow of oneness. And oh man, it was awesome. So this morning we woke up and it just, I felt as a whole, just the collective, the light workers, and just the profound activations. That's what I'm getting at. Like there was a huge shift last night, and it was a shift of like timeline proportion. And I've talked about what happened a few weeks ago, how we were all really bogged down. That was like a massive healing, and this few weeks has been the spiritual detox for the collective. And now we're cleansed, and that was this storm and rain last night. It was the cleansing past that has washed over. And like Tricky shared with me a little bit ago, they had some stormy weather, but it was like not the norm. It was something that kind of tore through, and that was
high winds, really high winds.
So the winds of change, even so, they blew strong last night. So this morning, me and Mom didn't get to visit a whole lot last night. They got back a little late, and so this morning my phone was actually off. I had it away to the side, and I had time to visit and talk with her. And just everything, things that we've broached before, spiritual things, metaphysical things, extraterrestrial things, some out of her depth, some she followed, and she was like, we were joking, and she called me Tyrion because we both loved the Game of Thrones series, and I was like, yes, I do drink and know things. That's my superpower. So we kept it going, and I nudged to like the things I've been doing and the energy work. And I told her, and Dad had bragged about last night about how good he felt, and she was open for that. And then
I told her, brother, I've got a call coming in. Can you mute me?
Oh yeah, by all means. My bad. I'm sorry. I need to breathe. So when we did that, she was open to the reading, and she was open to a Reiki session. And oh man, it was just spot on and profound. And after that, I got to talk to my birth mother, who's in a correctional facility at this time, and I was able to offer her guidance and some healings and perspective. And like this whole, like I said, like the last 36 hours has been beautiful energy work. and I was able to rest and gleam and learn and grow from it. All right, so with all that, sorry, that was a tangent. I know I had to kind of get it all out there. It was just wild stuff. All right. All right, so just all the goodness. I know Tricky's preoccupied at the moment. I don't want to bother him. I feel like I am. Also, I want to check in on him. I don't want to be rude. So, yeah, invitation's open if y'all want to come in and get in on the action and stuff.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Taylor. So I've caught Tricky up to speed.
You're a chatty little thing.
I am. I need to breathe.
No, it's okay. I said that too. I was like, I always need to breathe. I'd be talking so much. Jenna, yes.
Yes.
I want to talk to Jenna. She's been healing with her hands too.
Hey, good. A lot of hand activation lately, though. But
there's a lot of hand stuff going on.
Yeah, handsy. But most of y'all know everything that we've been doing on this channel with our meditations is also activating hands just in our own pace. So,
yeah. So I've never used a pendulum or anything, but I have something it's on my hands. But I have my sister-in-law, she was trying to watch a video on how to use a pendulum, and it was weird because all the different energy centers, even like on your fingers, it was crazy. I was like, I guess I only thought that.
Not at all. That's what I was saying last time we all got together, was the growth of the chakras, first to our hands, to our feet, to our wings, and then into the tree, past that into the Merkaba, and then back to the crystalline.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot of that shift. Like there's more and more activation, there's more and more growth, there's more and more learning, and it's good.
Did you know tomorrow's a storm moon? Did you know that?
A what?
A storm full moon. That's like what it's called.
Oh, a storm moon?
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I know. I didn't put it together till literally I don't know, maybe 5 minutes ago. I was like, a storm moon?
Well, there was that storm last night, and like I was telling Tricky just then, a massive cleanse for all light workers in the collective.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I mean, I know I already talked to you, but I was super groggy, so groggy. And I was like you, I laid down, but then at 3 a.m. I was buzzing. It's weird. I could even see almost how much I was shaking too. I'm still kind of buzzing a little bit. I need a ground really, really bad, honestly, to be honest.
Well, we can get some of that. That's part of today is
grounding.
Yeah.
Bring me back down to earth.
Hello.
Hey, Tricky. Okay, I didn't want to interrupt. I'm sorry, brother.
I'm sorry, my friend. Yeah.
No.
Had to take that call. How are we all doing?
Wonderful.
Buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're feeling it.
Yeah, even Tricky, share what you did with me on the car ride about the moon, because I feel like that'll make a lot of sense to the chat. I see there's moon talk.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm sitting facing west right now. So west, I'm looking straight over towards you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And at sort of 10, 11 o'clock-ish, the moon is normally southwest of me.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, it was east of me. Not southeast, not northeast, but it was east of me. Full, bright moon. And I thought to myself, hello there, you're not in the right spot, are you? And it wasn't.
People have been taking pictures of that, like picture evidence of like, I saw this girl was marking. She's like, I swear this is where the moon's supposed to be. And it's over here. And I was like, yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. I actually, Tricky, this leads me to a question I have for you. I was thinking about this last night. I was like, I can't wait to talk to Tricky because I have a question.
Okay.
So, you know how Nick, you kept mentioning that Nick thinks it's a prison planet. Not like that, but that we don't have any really free will, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you believe that too? Or what do you think?
If it depends how big a picture you wish to look at, a bigger canvas.
That's true, because if you look as the observer, it's going to be divine, everything.
If you have a tiny canvas, then you're the only one painting on it, which means you get the feel of free will.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as you go out a level, you're in the world canvas.
Yeah.
And then there are constraints on you. And you don't get to paint the whole picture. The problem is there are people everywhere painting their little patch of that canvas too.
Yeah.
Is that free will?
It depends on your, like you said, perspective of it.
Yeah, because if you think about the incarnation with the blueprint, like we have a blueprint. Can we really steer from it?
Yes.
I think that's what we're being shown now.
Yeah.
And that is when all right, so we can either, and I look at it through activation and neglection. I'm using those two terms just because activation is kind of what happened last night and over the last 36 hours.
Yeah.
Neglection being totally stopping it and maintaining the physical need. Like, so today's show is manifesting your Manipura. Manipura is your solar plexus chakra. And that's what generates the physical power. But it's also what allows the opening of the physical through the heart to the spiritual. So like your big three main chakras that inculcate who you are your solar plexus, your heart, and your third eye. Now, the three spiritual, throat, third eye, crown, are met by the heart connecting to the solar plexus, because it's root, sacral, solar plexus, and then the heart's in the center. That's, our being is emanated from our heart. And it's the truths or the false truths that we hang on to and the lies we tell ourselves that block our throat. And intuition is guided by our third eye. So what I'm getting at is sometimes the Manipura takes over all of this, the full activation of that physical need and wants, because it is the higher of the physical, meaning like the root is our survival needs, that reptilian brain, as you were, and then the sacral, it becomes that ego, that sexual, that manipulative energy.
Yeah, the toxic divine. Yeah.
Right. And the solar plexus is what allows all that to be pushed out. So cleansing those chakras is what, is the basis of today.
But do you think last night getting flooded with light though, like I feel like it was almost like a forced cleansing? That's what I was like kind of saying this morning. Yes. Is it felt like burn it with fire, cleanse it with water kind of energy. It was like forced. like anything needing to be pushed out was getting pushed out of me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I totally agree. That was like with the lightning and me, and it was like, in a way, the vibrations from the lightning and the thunder kind of was sound and light codes all at once, and it like crashed like a wave up against the lighthouse like we were talking about. I don't know, just all good things. What you got, Tricky?
Yeah, Tricky, what you got?
What I got, or what have I got?
Wait, okay, so now about the moon, Tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it a projection? I still think it's a projection up there.
No. It's a projector.
Oh, damn, you got me.
It's the projector.
No, I get it.
What do you see when a projector's on? It's actually projecting this reality.
Yep.
Oh my God.
See, me and Tricky have had tangents of this conversation so many times. Like when I first started, Tricky was one of the few that kind of picked my brain on a more out there level. Like it started once the conversation was over here on the live stream. It continued many times.
You mean he was as crazy as I was?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so we've gone from Petri dish to the bubbles on algae and you know,
Dyson spheres.
It all comes back to there must be an observer. So where is the observer?
Yeah.
On the other side of the moon.
Yeah.
So what happens? The moon has to go?
Not necessarily.
There was a time before the moon.
Oh, there's a huge raven outside my window.
Raven.
Yeah.
All right. So Taylor, since you're here, I have my 3 decks out.
Okay.
The moons, the compass, and the doors. And I was going to divide them amongst us 3, and not only aspects. Hold on. Hey, Sherry, go ahead and you can come back in and try again, because I already have a draw dedicated to today and this, but with the 3 aspects that me, you, and Tricky bring, I feel like it's almost like reflected of the cards I have here, you know, the map, the realms, and the Mystic Dreamer.
Ryan.
So,
well, Taylor's got to take the moon deck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm feeling it. Yeah.
I used my moon deck today too.
This is my moon deck. It's it's a Mystic Dreamer tarot deck. So
yours fits you. It looks very ruiny.
Like, all mine, I swear, like instantly called
masculine coming in hot. There you go.
So King of Cups.
That's an old photo of me.
You look good.
Thanks.
The only difference is the beard.
Of course.
So, Tricky, are you going to be our compass?
Seeing as I described that compass card.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I love that. You are a compass. You're a little way shower, showing your light. Oh my gosh. I thought about another thing last night with Tricky too, by the way. Sorry. I'm so annoying.
No. What?
No, I keep interrupting you literally because I'm so chatty.
Hey, look, this isn't about me.
You and we're too chatty today, Thomas.
Go ahead. Do what? I'm sorry.
Okay, so I really had this weird cleansing moment, and it made me think of what you were saying, but like actually process what you were saying. And it was this moment where I was like, I can't control other people. I can't change other people. I can't make them listen. But the one thing I can do is send them love. So even when I was irritated, I was like, I'm just going to overflow them with too much love. And it was weird because I processed it when you said it, but until I actually like thought about situations where I needed to do that, and actually do it, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, I know what I can do.
And how did it feel?
Oh my God, I feel so good.
There you go.
I feel like a crackhead today.
It's a win-win.
Crazy. No, it was amazing. It was profound for me. It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. Okay, go ahead, Thomas. I'll stop interrupting you.
No, you're good. So Taylor, you brought up the King of Cups as the aspect from your perspective.
I got it today again too.
Yeah. Tricky, you're the gentle gardener. And I pulled the altar priestess.
So. Ooh.
Suits you, sir.
Well, I have been basked in the divine feminine today and reconnecting and kindling that motherly love within.
There's no better hope, but no better cradle to be in.
That's right.
And that goes with like that forced cleansing. Guess what that is? It's
Mother Earth.
It's the birthing. Yes. Like Mother Earth.
Mother Goddess energy.
Right. Yeah. Gaia has birthed this new age. It, like, I swear, all that cleansing that had to happen was like the detaching of the placenta or the umbilical. I don't know all the workings of it. I used to, but I'm out of school, so I don't have to. It's like I don't have to do that.
The female body is hard.
Right. So, well, that forced cleansing is that exiting through the canal, and now like the last 2 weeks has been the canal. It's because it's built up a lot of pressure. It's built up a lot of
labor.
Right. With labor.
We felt it like it's a labor.
Right. And that push last night, y'all felt the wind from it. We saw the thunder and lightning of it. And I'm sure the West Coast has some things to add to this. So y'all out there on the left.
You could see the crown of the head last night.
Right. So it is pushed forward, and and to me, that is signaling that mass activation I was getting from all that lightning, because I mean, I'm saying this, and I have no idea whether or not there she is. I'm so sorry, Cher. I hope you got to joining. Join with audio and then join with video if you want video.
Oh no. Labor pains. Yeah, Ruby, there. No, okay. I said this on my Twitter, and I thought I was so cool back before I got nuked off Twitter. I was like, nobody said birthing a new age was going to be easy. And it is not easy.
It hasn't been easy.
It's so hard.
Oh, man. So, yes.
It's a beautiful angel.
How are you?
There she is. Your audio's connecting, love. Don't press anything.
That's what we had trouble with about 5 minutes ago. Hey, Cher.
Try. Oh, yeah. Your mic's off.
Here, it might be me.
Hang on.
No? You good?
Yay. Maybe.
Can you speak to us, Cher? She's watching it through the YouTube.
Oh.
Ah, got you. Okay, that probably is why. Well,
and you should be on Zoom,
everyone. So put her in. I had to put you in the spotlight just a little bit, Cher.
I
if
love
your
it.
voice can't come through, we had to get your energy.
Oh, yeah, do it again.
And it's love, by the way. I know you're probably.
It's delayed by 30 seconds for you, Cher, because you're watching it on the YouTube.
Hey, Tricky, Aura Man.
What's up?
Can you see her crown?
I can always see her crown.
You take up a lot of space.
Nah,
it's profound.
She's incredibly well connected.
It's profound.
Yeah, she's incredibly well connected, Cher.
Profound.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, she could have her own stained glass window, and it still wouldn't amount
to. I feel it. Hold on, I'm gonna bask in it for a second. Feeds off, Cher.
Oh.
Can you speak to us, Cher?
Let me see.
Cher, can you hear us?
I'm pretty sure she can hear. She's in the video, so but her audio. What is she using? Do you know, Tricky? Are you in contact with her?
She'll be on a phone.
Okay.
It's like she's talking, but we can't hear. Yo, yeah. Gaines has a question too. Ryan said, what do you do when you're overwhelmed with your energy, like your spiritual energy? Get outside.
We're doing that today. All right, we can do that
feet on the ground.
We can do that right now, actually.
No, I can store it.
What do you use it for?
You can. And the way you store it is, open up the heart and then let it bypass, go into the solar plexus. Oh God, I'm so happy you said that, Tricky. It goes back to the today. Just manifesting your Manipura. That is manifesting your power, and it's that feeling. The of today is claim your power.
I'm full of it, and I like the feeling of being full of it.
I'm just so tingly.
It is tingly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, get in! I have been the builder. Oh, so sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm just glad we can hear you.
Yes.
I'm so frustrated.
I know. Technology, man.
I hate it.
It's beautiful things.
Hey, it's done now.
Yeah,
I know. I'm on Zoom. I am not through YouTube. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Right.
Fine.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Cher.
Hi, honey.
What are you doing today?
Hi, Cher.
Hi, honey. I finished work at 5 o'clock.
We've got the same glass.
Oh.
We've got the same glass, but we haven't got the same drink, darling. Mine is my favourite new gin.
Oh. Ooh.
Absolutely delicious. Pomegranate and rose. It is the best drink I've ever had in my life.
Oh, that's amazing. I gotta put some Mio in it though. I can't handle gin.
Oh, Sherry, you just floored me.
Have I?
Yes.
Why?
Pomegranate and rose and a gin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I need to change my jeans.
Right. It's definitely delicious. Definitely delicious.
I mean, it sounds good.
It's Friday. Friday's the only time I will actually have a drink, and I don't have a drink every Friday. It's occasionally, but if I do, it's in a half-pint glass.
Love it.
That's your form of healing. You don't have to.
It's a release.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's my setup for the weekend. I'm not going to go into the details of my personal life. Tricky knows all about it, but I live in a difficult situation. So very briefly, my dad had a stroke, and my dad is a horrible human being. And because of who I am, I moved back into the house to basically be there in case he needed me, but I can't live with him. So I used all of my money to build a flat above the garage, so I don't have to live with him, but I'm in the same building. And he's made my life a misery ever since. And he does it on a daily basis. I mean, Tricky knows this. And I joke all the time about kicking him down the stairs, but nobody will help me do it. So I kind of have to put up with it. With humour.
Yeah.
Yeah, with humour.
Yeah, he's my father is he genuinely is a horrible human being. He's a misogynist. He's an alcoholic. He is violent. He is selfish. He's just an awful person. And he always has been my whole life to me, certainly to me, ever since I was tiny. So it's just sort of one of those things where Tricky is my go-to person when I am stressed, and to be fair, my father's the only person who can truly get me stressed. Tricky's the person who gets me off the ceiling, because he knows the situation. So that's why I have a little tipple on a Friday just to get me through the weekend.
Hey, please don't apologize.
Yeah, literally, whatever help. Like, I don't know. I'm the kind of person, whatever helps you survive, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
I don't smoke anymore. I'm trying to eat healthy. I don't chuck toxins on my body or anything else. Well, this is toxins, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day,
well,
it's the only toxin I have.
It is, but at the same time, they called it spirits for a reason. It's either to invoke some or help release your own. So
that's so true, isn't it?
Take your perspective and let it heal as it needs to.
Well, yes. I don't think I need much help, to be fair.
Well,
I'm pretty good at just saying and doing what I need to do, regardless. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, you seem very independent.
Oh yeah, you resonate on your own field. I like it's.
Oh, Victoria.
So just from your situation, what you've shared, it's like I can shared.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a sharing kind of a share.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
I can feel it, and yeah.
I don't want to
say I'm using you, but what you just brought to the table is like the essential motive of today's show and read. And if you allow me, I'm tapping into your energy for the start of this message, because you brought forth to the table the whole agenda of the healing process.
Yeah, do what you need to do.
Well, it's just, yeah, I have this draw that I'll do. Since I have my several decks with me, I have the realms, the Mystic Dreamer, and the map. I've created my own personal draw where I make an arrow and it shows us the way forward from one perspective. And since you brought to the table the energy needed to look at this facet of the collective, that healing, that familial commitment and ties, that's what we're doing today, is helping heal that.
Can I just interrupt for a second?
By all means, I want you to take the reins, sir. Please.
No, share. What view have you on at the moment? What can you see?
Okay, I've
a big me, and then the others under.
No, on my phone I can see you, but because I know that that's going to happen, I've got my tablet next to it, watching everything else going on. It's a little bit delayed, but I can see the messages on the other one.
You can swipe your screen across and it should show you all four of us at once.
Oh, you see, he's my technical guru.
I thought I'd help you with that before we carry on.
Good job. Tricky was like, 1 second, excuse me. Let me assist.
Boy, though, he knows how bad I am, because I don't use any of this stuff, and it's actually Tricky that got me into social media, because I'm very old school. I'm very military. Yes. And, if I can't pick the phone up and have an actual conversation with you, I'm really not that interested. And, the only reason I'm on Facebook was to keep in touch with my old army friends. And everybody's got this Instagram going and bloody everything. Twitter, tweeting. I mean, for Christ's sake, that's what birds do. I have had none of this until last week. And I went a little bit mental and got all of them. And now I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So Tricky knows I'm having a bit of a problem. I'll get there. I will get there.
Cannot compute.
Oh, no electronic meltdowns, dear. It can all be fixed by the flick of a switch.
Yeah, I was going to say a flick of a button, and then my mind went off on a different tangent. So I need to calm down. I've had 3 sips of gin. I'm naughty now.
No, I like it. Stay naughty.
So Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Go, brother.
Yeah.
All right. So
no, please. No. I've been waiting for this for ages.
There, I've tapped in, and I have 3 stats for you. So I'm gonna, if you will indulge, center, left, or right.
Left.
Healing the ouch.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yep. It comes up so much, but it's so true. It's so true. All right, so this is the message. Oh man, I got the tingles. My hair's standing up.
And mine.
It's so true. So, ouch. That's what we all need to do. And sometimes we forget, because many of us, especially within this community, are hard, sensitive empaths, and we've given so much to the world, we forget about ourselves. And like, that was my draw this morning for my mother, was getting back to self, that awareness of self. The bone collector was her message. And then the entire read was loving self, allowing, you know, that reflection, allowing that awareness. And her
a real breakthrough.
Right. And her hindrance was the commitment she's made. And I was like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but, and she instantly started keying up. I saw the gears turning, the light bulbs flashing in her eyes. And I was like, and I could have answered for her, you know, but I was like, that's from my perspective, and it could be true, but at the same time, you already have the answers in your mind. I see it. And I pulled some realm cards for her, and it was, I mean, her to a T, everything that she has, you know, just embodied since, I mean, she's my mom, but I feel this, but, you know, she got the high lady of love and compassion, and then into the weaver of the web weaver, into the keeper of scales. So she's always been that balance, you know, that motherly love between, you know, the father's righteous fury and the children's mishaps. And, you know, I've met people that only know me through her, like, hey, you're Donna's kid, right? And I'm like, I don't even know who the hell you are. Yeah. And they'll give me a hug and stuff, like, oh, I've worked with your mom for years. She loves you. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And it makes me feel good. And then she's always been that love and compassion within the family. You know, she's been that glue. And and I saw it kind of light up in her. And she's like, yes. And I was like, but remember, let this all, and I had the arrow pointing towards her. And I was like, all this is flowing back to you. So the point of the collective arrow, and thank you, Cher, is healing that ouch. Hey, Garland's in. Everybody say hello to the lady.
Hello, lady.
Hello.
Right by the chat, so sending her some loves.
Hello, Amelia. Yeah, hello.
I'm still getting to know everybody, so if I don't know who you are, I apologise, but I will get there, I promise. You just have to bear with me. I'm awful with names as well.
That's okay.
No worries, Cher, no worries.
I'll try. I'll try. I will try. I think for me, a little bit more about my background. I was 7 years old when I started looking after my little brother, and my little brother is only 16 months younger than me. And when I say little brother, he's actually 6'5".
Oh my gosh.
Not quite so little, but I raised him. I looked after the whole house. I was the housewife. I was 7 years old. I had no childhood. I had no idea what it was like to be a child. I have never attended a birthday party in my life because I wasn't allowed. And the thing is, it made me who I am.
That's right.
And I don't see that. People feel very sorry for me, and I understand it.
I honestly, I don't feel sorry for you, because obviously I hold empathy and compassion for you.
Yeah.
But I can't explain it. Like Ruby saw it too. There's an orb that passed by. The second Thomas tapped into you, I was able to get in because it's annoying, but he's annoying. Yeah. But I want you to know that there is a love for you that is so beyond this human love. Like, I can't explain what's around me right now, but I can tell you that you are so deeply honored. Like, it's almost like I see you on a pedestal. You don't understand that all these trials and tribulations, they're looking at you, and it's like an applause. They're looking at you and they're thanking you. Like the way that the servitude that you've had, not only for your faith or whatever has been going on with that, but also for what you've done for others, they're acknowledging you.
Thank you for that.
You're seen. You are. They're saying you're seen. You're seen. You're seen. You're seen.
What she said.
Not today, but on another day we'll talk about my sister. But not today. I have always been the sort of person. My father always used to say to me, "Why do you collect collect lame ducks. And what he meant by that, every friend I had as I was growing up needed somebody. You know, their home life was awful, or they just were clueless and they needed a bit of guidance. I've always collected around me people who needed somebody to help them, even when I was little. And I am still that way. I do have less patience now. I'm in my 40s, but I'm kind of losing more patience as I get older, because I roll my eyes and think, Jesus, how many more years have I got to do the same nonsense with you? Because really, you should have learned by now. But I'm a Wiccan. Okay, so for those of you who know what Wiccans are, you know what I'm all about. And the bottom line for me is, if I can help somebody, I should.
Right.
And that's what I'm here for. That doesn't mean I don't need help. That's what Tricky's for. So I have a small, very select group of people who help me off the ceiling when I need a bit of help.
Right.
But my capacity here is to do what I can to help other people get through life, because do you know what? Life is a big ball of nonsense if you're not careful. It's a big ball of feelings that people can't deal with. And that's okay, as long as you don't let it overtake your entire life. And that can be very easily done, especially in the circumstances we're dealing with. And I'm seeing it at work. People that were very strong-minded at work, and they were great, real in-your-face people, are falling apart with mental health issues because they can't cope with being on their own, because they actually don't like their own company. Yes. And me, I'm do you know what? I have never been happier at work, sitting in my little office next door, not having to deal with the stupidity that I have to deal with from other people. I'm bomb-proof. My mental health is superb.
Yeah.
And it's really shown the difficulties people have with their own company. Tricky knows what I'm talking about. We've had this conversation multiple times. I am not an antisocial person. I love people.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, it's particular.
Yes.
You're careful with where you place it. I am too.
Okay, very little bit about me. I used to be in the army, but I also was a police officer, okay? Mm-hmm. In London. So for those of you in the UK, you know what a Metropolitan Police officer deals with in London. And I had 5 years as a police officer, and not one time in 5 years did I have any person get physical with me. Not once in 5 years. Unheard of. Nobody could believe it. And there's a reason for that.
You put off your massive amount of aura, and it, no matter what it hits with,
I know, me too,
Victoria. Cleansing or healing, and sometimes it's both.
Have you two guys seen the gold and silver band around Cher at the moment?
Yeah.
As soon as she came,
you've been seeing that?
Yeah.
The way she takes up space, you take up. It's like, even if someone was to get close to you, you would alchemize their energy because you take up so much space.
Yep.
I have been told that, not for the same reasons, mind, but
no, girl.
I've been called larger than life, and I think that people who don't understand spirituality, that's what they call it, because they've got no other way of explaining it to themselves.
Yeah.
And I know that. I walk in the room and everybody knows I'm there. And I've
shiny.
I was 4 years old, you know, all balls out and in your face. And it's ingrained in who I am as a human being. And my father has spent many years trying to knock that out of me. I don't just mean verbally, I do mean physically. And I mean, it hasn't happened for a long time because I put a stop to it. But when you are a big personality, people will do one of two things. They will run away, or they will try and suppress you. Yep. Okay. Yep. I am single because men run away. Okay. I'm actually fantastic in bed. I'm a great partner. I don't do bullshit, and I don't cause a problem.
I literally don't doubt that.
Darling, I've never met a man who's man enough to deal with me yet.
That's right.
Okay. Because they don't know what to do with me. They don't understand who I am as a human being. And the people who love me for who I am don't find me attractive or they're gay. So I'm kind of in that middle ground where I've accepted I'm going to be on my own, because I'm here for a reason. And I can't be here for that reason if I go off and get married, because obviously I'll be there for my husband. I can't be there for everybody else, because husbands get quite jealous when you're there for like millions of other people. I get that. That's fine. I've lived that many lives before anyway. I've been married. I've been a man. I've been all sorts of wonderful things. I'm okay with being on my own this time.
Right. Oh, man.
It's just, look, it's
Games. I'm on my way, Cher.
I mean, I've tried to explain to people how I view certain things. And when people talk about reincarnation, for me, the way I explain it to people, I've said, I don't believe that I will walk into an actual room that's full of books and I can pick a book off an actual shelf.
Right.
But if you visualize it this way, it kind of explains my thought process. And the way I view it is, when my body dies, you can't kill energy. Energy is energy. You can't destroy it. I mean, the atom bomb proves that. You split an atom and look what happens. So we are made up of all these atoms. So we are immense powerhouses of a ridiculous amount of energy. That's got to go somewhere. Yes. So what happens is my energy goes off and it sits in this lovely room with lots and lots of books. And these books are every single life I've ever lived in graphic detail. And what I do, I can make a choice. I can sit there for a few years or a few millennia, or I can sit there for 20 minutes. But I will read what I want to read. I will pick the bits out that I want to relive. I will decide if there's something that I haven't done yet that I'd like to have a go at. I'll put it all together in a little crucible pot, and that's what I'm coming back as next time. And then when I'm ready, I pop back over and I start a new life with all of those little elements that are added in. And I think this is where people's past life memories come from, because you've probably done some of this before.
Yes.
But if you've noticed with past life regression, there are some parts that they're extremely graphic about and other bits that they're a bit vague about. And I think those vague bits are the bits that they wanted to learn, but they've not lived before.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's just how I view it. And I believe I will keep coming back until there's nobody more to help.
Cher, you got Thomas so excited.
This is like.
Don't forget.
This is where I stay.
Don't forget, Thomas and I are at war. Don't forget, we're at war. We're in the middle of a fight here. In our armor. Don't forget, this is how Thomas and I first met. We've thrown the gauntlets down. We're full on war here.
Oh my God.
Hey, but this funny thing is we're both picking from the same books.
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably why we're at war, love.
That's
probably. It probably is.
Yeah, probably. That'll do it.
Well, you've got to make life interesting, for Christ's sake. I can't fight with Tricky.
Holy moly.
Exactly. And
Victoria said God is a woman. Cheers, because oh my God, Cher. Queen.
Oh, I've always believed God isn't male or female. God is. Now, we've explained God to me is not Christian God or Allah or God to me as a Wiccan. God is the male and female parts of the whole. It's the whole. Yeah. Okay. You can call it Freya, you can call it Diana, you can call it Pan, call it what you like. The bottom line is procreation requires male and female. So don't even get me started on this argument about fucking genders.
Yeah, it's so distorted.
That's a whole other conversation, and everyone will be upset if I start on a Friday night.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's distortion, and we can leave it.
There's two sexes in the human genome, right? There's two sexes. It's male or female. There's nothing else. You are not asexual. You're not a fucking penguin. You're male.
You're not a fucking penguin.
That's what she fucking said.
Yes.
Sexuality is not sex. Put your big boy pants on and grow up. You're male or female. It's as simple as that. Don't start me flipping going, because I'll be on my soapbox forever.
Yeah.
No.
I will say something about that. I looked at my husband last night because they were speaking about having the transgender surgeries for children under the minor age. So me and my husband were talking. I said, do you know why they're doing that? He was like, why? I was like, I feel like they're doing that because that takes away the minor rights so that they can introduce pedophilia as a sexual orientation. Right. That's like next on the, I mean, it's all, I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't feel real. I said that, I was like, none of this shit's real. And then I was like, oh, it's technically not. It's all distorted.
Right.
Okay, Daniel, I see what you did there. I will remember you. You're on my shit list, love.
What happened?
Daniel's a fire truck.
A fire truck?
Yeah. I am kidding, by the way, Daniel. I love you. It's fine. I don't mean
it. He's not bad. He's
What do we want to be today?
Well, honest. That'll do.
Hey, I like that.
Honest.
True. Oh my God. Yes. I wish everyone was just honest.
Do you know what? You find people who aren't honest aren't happy with their lives.
No.
And the reason they're not honest is because they want to be more than they are. And I've always said about my father. Now, Tricky will back me on this one because he's actually had a conversation or two with my father. And I've always said, if my father did half as many wonderful things as he tells everybody he does, he'd be a pretty wonderful human being. Okay? So why talk about it? Why not just do it? Because it's just as easy. And this is what my father has never really understood. And I see it so often when I'm looking around me, that people will tell everybody about all these wonderful things they're doing and all this help they're giving to people and how brilliant they are at work and how much help they're giving their colleagues, when in actual fact they're talking about it, but they're not actually doing a lot of it.
Yeah, it's like the Facebook, Instagram posts. It's a life that's not their actual life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they want the
life. There's no B-sides, is there? It's always the A-side. You always get the best. You know what? My life can be pretty shit sometimes, but then so can every other human beings on the planet. I'm not special. I am no different to any other human being. I just deal with it differently. And that's the only difference between me and most of the population. I choose how I deal with it because I know what the consequences of my choices are, and I accept the consequences of my choices. I accept the consequences of my behaviour, the things that I say I stand by. And if I offend somebody, for that I truly apologise. But you know what? If you're that much of a snowflake, you're in the wrong conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. Because my opinion doesn't affect you. My opinion affects me. Only me.
Oh my God,
and you can disagree with me if you like. That's not a problem. Let's go and have it. Ask Tricky how often he and I will be going at an argument. And when I say argument, I don't mean yelling. I mean a total disagreement of views till 4 a.m.
Yep.
Won't we, Trick?
Yeah, easily.
I've turned up at 5:30 of an evening and said, right, I'm only popping in for half an hour and a quick coffee. See how you're doing. 4 o'clock the following morning, I'm leaving because we've talked about every subject you can think of and disagreed about most of them.
Yeah.
But you know, I love that.
But you got to have those conversations. How else do you learn? That's my thing with this whole situation is you were not supposed to say things to certain people, but that makes absolutely no sense. If you don't engage in a conversation, you're sheltered even more than you're already sheltered.
The most important thing that anybody could learn very quickly, and it will recite your whole moral offset, is it's okay to have a different point of view.
I love my truth. I respect my truth, but I respect your truth too. Okay. Let me hear your truth. You can hear my truth.
Too.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Man, it's all okay.
Do you know what? For me as well, I've got to show you this beautiful t-shirt. I'll read it to you. It says, do you consider yourself childish? And in the know, there is a knob. Okay? This is what I wore to work today.
Nice.
However, I work from home, so I couldn't get away with this. Obviously,
I like it though.
Actually at work. But one of the things I find when you have a difference of opinion with other people, because they are 100% that they're right, that causes falling outs. Okay, they will fall out with you and they'll stop speaking to you because, oh my God, how can you have a different opinion than me? Well, do you know what? One of the things I've always said, Tricky will back me, I've always been a shepherd. I'm not a sheep or a sheeple. We were talking, well, Tricky was talking about this a few days ago. I've always been a shepherd. And do you know what? If I'm out there on that limb on my own, standing for my my morals that I believe in, because I believe I'm right, then I'll be out there on that limb on my own. And I really don't care. I'm the first one on the dance floor, dancing like nobody's watching because I'm having fun and I really don't care if anybody's actually watching. I'm happy. I'm out there enjoying myself.
That unapologetic energy. I like it. I really do. I'm like basking in. I'm like, I'm gonna go dance alone and be myself now.
Why be apologetic about who you are, right? The way I look at it is this. I have worked very hard my whole life to distance myself from my father's anger and my father's negative side, okay? And because I've worked so hard, I like who I am. And the one thing I will say to everybody, and Tricky will tell you, I say it quite a lot, the only person in the whole of the world that has to live with me is me. I cannot physically remove myself from myself for the rest of my life. You guys never have to speak to me again if you don't want to.
So
people can leave me.
enjoy your company.
But I
enjoy my company with me. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And this is what I'm saying. You have to be comfortable with who you are because you have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. And if you're not comfortable with who you are, then change it. But if you are comfortable, then celebrate the fact that you're a good human being and you're the best you that you can be. Because do you know what? Nobody else is going to blow that smoke up your ass. Other than maybe husbands, wives, people who actually love you. But everybody else, they're really not going to bother. So you've got to do that for yourself. And I'm not saying, have delusions of bloody grandeur and, I'm important in my own lunchtime. What I mean is be truthful to yourself. Be honest with yourself about who and what you are. I have my moments where I sit and I think, oh, do you know what? I can't be asked. Going up the road to help somebody, it's too much like hard work today. I need a day off. But then, do you know what? Tomorrow, I'll feel guilty about that because I should have gone up and helped because I could have. So I'll go up tomorrow and I'll make up for that later and I'll have a word with myself. But that's on me. And this is the thing. You make your own choices. Nobody else's opinion actually matters.
Yeah.
Yours does, though.
So I think you've hit on just about every detail of the things that Thomas has got stored up. So come on, brother.
Thomas is over there shaking. He's
come on, brother.
Basically, that's called pissing on your. That's called pissing on your parade, isn't it?
No, not at all.
No, he loves it. He literally loves it. He has a huge right now. He loves it.
So, Cher, you are the page of wands, and so that was just I have sections of cards divvied out here. I don't know if you saw it, but Taylor drew the King of Cups. Okay. Tricky is the Gentle Gardener, and I brought on the Altar Priestess, and you're giving us the aspect of Page of Wands. With that one tangent, everything you just said is in my daily Stoic philosophy quote, and it's from Epictetus. Tentative efforts lead to tentative outcomes. Therefore, give yourself fully to your endeavors. Decide to construct your character through excellent actions and determine to pay the price of a worthy goal. The trials you encounter will introduce you to your strengths. Remain steadfast, and one day you will build something that endures, something worthy of your potential.
Yes.
All right. So that's got me vibrating and buzzing.
Can I tap into for a sec? Since we're on share?
By all means.
Okay. We got death and then we got 10 of wands. Of course, the death is the rebirth of the self. Death doesn't literally have to mean death. It's what you're going through right now, that rebirth. 10 of wands is you've held everyone's shit for so long. The 10 of wands, he's done. He's tired. He's been holding everyone else's shit. It's time for him to hold his own shit. And by going through this death process, it's all the focus on you, all the light on you. It's almost like it's rebirth energy, quite literally. But Spirit is nodding and saying, hey, Cher, again, Spirit's coming in again saying, hey, Cher, we acknowledge what you've done for everyone. Look at you, look at what you've held. Some of the shit that you've been holding isn't even your own shit. And it's time for you to focus on you, your heart center, and unapologetically, which you're already very good at, unapologetically go through this rebirth, because what's coming for you is the wheel of fortune. It's time. It's like, it's the turn. You know what I mean? Like everything turning and shifting for you in alignment. It's beautiful. I see it. Yeah.
Well, just to point something out regarding that, Tricky will let you all know. About a week ago, I made the decision that enough was enough. And I made the decision that I was no longer going to be frustrated with other people's stupidity, because I have to accept the fact that they're just stupid.
Tricky's lessons.
He's backing me up. Because we had this conversation and I said, do you know what? I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to just accept the fact. And I'm still working on that aspect of myself, because I do struggle with a knee-jerk reaction for stupidity. I do struggle with stupid people. I'm sorry. I have an intolerance. I can't help it. I am intolerant of stupidity. I'm working on it. And one of the things that I did recently, actually 2 days ago, I deal with somebody at work who has no respect for me as a human being. She has no respect for me as a colleague. Mm-hmm. And I gave her some information which she didn't listen to, and then asked me why I did something without the relevant information, although I'd already just given her exactly that information. So instead of dealing with it like I normally would with frustration, I breathed and I just repeated it all again very calmly.
Yes.
And I immediately rang Tricky afterwards and said, you're going to be so proud of me, because that was a really difficult thing for me. And it really, well, I'll be honest, I do struggle with my frustration. My frustration manifests as anger, because I have no patience with it. And I have been working on that for the last week, maybe a little bit longer than a week, because I had got to that point where I've got to stop this now. Yeah. Everyone else can deal with their own shit, because do you know what? I'm nobody's mommy. So go do yourself now. You put your big girl pants on and off you go. And this is kind of where I got to about a week ago. So that's actually that's spot on.
It's you, right, Thomas?
Yeah. So
I wasn't going to come on today, but I had 2 sips.
I'm glad you did. I really am glad you are here. I am honored that you're here.
I'm glad to be here as well, actually, because I said to Tricky the other night, some of you will have seen the post that I put over on the Telegram, but I genuinely mean it. You know, I'm Tricky and I have discussed multiple times the fact that because we're very like-minded, we were struggling with the fact that we couldn't find like-minded people in the world, because everybody seemed to be on a completely different page to us. And we know we're not mad, and we know we're relatively sensible people, and you know we're intelligent human beings, and we can have a good discussion. But we couldn't believe that there were so few others out there.
It's crazy. It's such a lonely journey. It really is.
It is.
It's so lonely.
Yeah. I mean,
it has been.
Has been, exactly. Look at all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to remember, Tricky and I knew each other when I was 15. I mean, that's 30 years ago, guys, right? 30 years ago, I met this man. And then we lost touch about 4 years later, until about 6 years ago, I think we established Trick. That's 6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
So for like the best part of 30 years, we hadn't seen each other at all. Not a clue about each other's lives. And I happened to be walking through town and saw him, and it was like we'd never had that 30 years in between.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys have each other, though.
Well, our friendship when I was 15 was a very different kind of friendship to what it is now, because I was 15, I was a kid. I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, for goodness sake. And he was very much a big brother for me. He did try and explain to me that the guy I was with was a dick, and I was having none of it. I was 15, I was loved up, he was wonderful. Yeah, he was a dick. But, you know, you learn that yourself, don't you? And then as you get older, you develop, you mature, and you have different thought processes. And then so Tricky and I went for a cup of coffee and a chat, and he was telling me what had happened to him, and we kind of went from there. And it was a really strange situation, because we almost, I don't know if Tricky feels the same. I mean, I'm sure he'll tell you. The thing for me is, when you form a friendship, you start to get to know each other, you swap stories, you spend a bit of time together, you build up that friendship. We kind of totally just skipped all that. We kind of just went from naught to besties in about 3 weeks. It kind of...
Did we just become best friends?
There was no middle ground. There was no middle bit. There was no getting to know each other. It's almost like we made a decision we were going to be best friends, and that's just how it was.
Yeah.
And it was quite strange for me, because I have huge trust issues from my past, my the way I've grown up, and being a police officer makes you quite distrustful of people, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, you see the worst side of humanity, don't you? You don't see the good bits when you're a police officer. You see the worst parts. That's what you're there for. And I've always had trust issues because of my father and the way okay, I'm not going to go into detail today, but very, very briefly, my mother murdered my sister and then left. Okay.
Oh my God.
And my brother was 2 months old, so I was 18 months old when this happened. So it's kind of, I'm not going to go into detail, and I've dealt with it a really long time ago, and it's all great. It's fine.
It happened.
But it's one of those things that it defines who you are as a human being, because my whole life as a young girl, I wanted a sister. I hated my little brother. He was a horrible little bastard. He was just awful. He was awful human being. He was a horrible kid. I mean, thankfully he's grown up and he's wonderful now, but he was a horrible little swine when he was a kid. He was one of those children you just want to drown, as a sibling, you want to drown him.
She's working on it, guys. She is working on it.
Yeah, I'll explain. My father basically pitted me and my brother against each other our whole lives. We had no relationship. We hated each other until nearly 8 years ago, when my dad had his stroke and him and my brother fell out. And that's the first time my brother and I actually had a conversation. And from that moment, we built a relationship. Now, my brother has had nothing to do with my father since. My brother and I are now very, very close. I am the only person outside of him and his wife that he'll leave his little girl with overnight. My father hasn't seen his granddaughter since she was 1, because my brother has accepted that my father is a violent person, and until he sorts that out, he's not prepared to allow his little girl near that. And I agree with him. We grew up with that. I wouldn't want her near it either. So it's kind of that sort of situation, and it's defined me as a human being, and it's made me the strong person that I am. And I've always said to people, you don't miss what you never had. People say, oh, it's awful that you didn't have a childhood, but I had other things. And when you're living it, you don't know there's anything wrong with that. My father left me and my brother. I was 13. My brother he just turned 11. He left us at home on our own for 6 weeks while he went to Zimbabwe on holiday. And I looked after my brother, myself, and my 2 German shepherds and the house. And we went to school every day. And nobody ever knew, because we weren't allowed to discuss it. Now, who would leave their children for 6 weeks on their own to look after themselves because they want a holiday? That's the sort of human my father is. And he did it every year. Minimum 4-week holidays he had. We never had a holiday our whole lives. I was 17 the first time I went on holiday, because I spent 4 years saving up my money. I got my first job when I was 14 so that I could buy sanitary ware, because he wouldn't give me money for it. This is what I grew up with. Yeah. So when I see you girls and guys on here saying that you've had these awful things happen to you, trust me when I say I get it.
I do think, like, most of us, like, if you've gone through I don't know what it is. Obviously there's strength in all of the trauma that comes and how you overcome it and all the forgiveness that you can offer. But there is something really weirdly mirroring about, I would say, I've like watched the chat too. There's people that are mirroring similar situations to you. We all, it's interesting because by you sharing that, you don't understand, you're also healing them.
Yes.
Like you're saying things that maybe some of them haven't looked at in a while either too.
And do you know what though? I mean that. Sorry, go on, Thomas. Go on.
By all means, take the reins. I'm still
Don't say
pulling
that. I'll take over.
I'm still pulling cards, and I'm just, everything you are echoing is echoing back here. And
yeah, Thomas is just sitting there like, I like this. Get out of my head.
I've always said about me, people meet me in person, and within a very short time, they're telling me their entire life story.
Yes.
And they'll go, oh, I don't know why I told you that. I've never told anybody. I don't ask for it. I don't ask them. I don't pry.
Yeah.
I'm very good at winkling it out of people because I don't know. And I talk the hind legs off a donkey. You're supposed to be a really good listener to help people. I am so far beyond a good listener. I am the opposite of a good listener. I'm not what you would expect people to open up to, because I chat. When we were talking about the astrological signs, I am the year of the rabbit, guys. And I mean that. I was born in the year of the rabbit, which is really very, very spot on for me. But people do, they open up to me. And the thing is, for me, there's other things, I'm not going to discuss it today. I think I've overloaded everybody a wee bit already.
You're okay.
But there's other things in my life that I've had to overcome, and they've been quite difficult because I've had to do it on my own. And when you have to do it on your own, you form a different kind of strength. And it means that I've never really relied on anybody else. And that can actually be quite lonely. And some of you guys out there will understand what I'm trying to say. Please don't misunderstand me. I am supremely happy with who I am. And it gives me that ability to help other people. But not everybody can handle it the way I do, because not everybody is built like me. And that isolation can actually affect people detrimentally. For me, it made me stronger. Because I don't like being beaten. I'm sure you can already figure out my personality. I won't be beaten by anything, and I will beat it into submission if I have to. I like to overcome everything I deal with. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer, but there are people out there that have dealt with that isolation like I have, and it's affected them in a really detrimental way, and they're struggling.
What's it say? Oh yes, the star. Aquarian energy, but you shining your light, the star. Oh my God, Thomas, get out of my head.
This is kind of what I was trying to say the other night when Tricky was talking, and I popped it, and I apologize for that sort of dive bombing on Tricky's live feed, but
it was beautiful.
We like it.
What you have to understand, I don't do crying very often. It takes an awful lot to make me cry, and it really, really does. It really has to hit a nerve, because I've had to sort of hide my feelings from the world.
Yeah.
But whether they're happy tears or otherwise, I can't cope. People I care about, I can't cope with them crying for. I don't care what the reason is. I can't, and it affects me now because I've learned to tap into my feelings instead of ignoring them.
Yes.
And that's I needed a cuddle. It's literally as selfish as that. I needed to give him a cuddle. It was for me, and it was for me. Honestly, that was for me. I needed to make sure that I gave him a cuddle and said, "Don't do crying on without me." Did I or did I not say that when I walked through your back door?
You did.
There you go. My exact words: "Don't do crying without me. You're not allowed to do crying without me." That's what I told him, because I can't cope with it. It
was good tears, though.
I know, and I was happy for you, but that's one of the few things I actually can't cope with. Other people's tears.
Well,
I cope with everything else.
You facilitate the need and the opening for the cleanse, but being present in the cleanse causes afflictions on your side. Is that what you're getting at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Tammy, just seen what you've posted up.
Yeah. I do.
You know,
we should nod to Tammy really quick, because exactly, she chose to make a strength out of it, just like you did, Cher.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, Tammy, you know, it's hard. It's hard to choose to be strong. I mean, there's other things that happen to me. I mean, okay, guys, I know I talk quite matter-of-factly about all these things that have happened to me, but you have to understand, I'm not downplaying what happened, and that is no disrespect to anybody out there who has dealt with these things themselves and is still struggling with them. I am a singular kind of a person, but I promise, if ever you need to talk to somebody about it, I'm just explaining these things to you so that you know that I understand and I have dealt with it and I can help you. I was 15 years old when I got anally raped by 4 guys. They dragged me down an alleyway and took it in turns. And I was a virgin.
Oh my God, Cher.
I was 19 years old, I lost my virginity, okay? And when that happened to me, I went within myself, and I had to come to terms with that on my own. I had nobody. Now, as it happens, and I am a Scorpio, and Tricky will tell you, I am a vicious bastard. When you back me into a corner, I have a sting that you would not want to be on the end of. I promise you that. And I'm pretty fast. So if you're not running faster than me, you better hope you've got your affairs in order, because if I fucking catch you, you won't get away. And these 4 guys never raped another woman again, because they had no genitalia to do so with, because they were smashed between bricks.
Dang.
Okay. I didn't do it. And I had no idea it was happening at the time. I found out a long time later. But somebody very close to me found out and just decided that's how he was going to deal with it. And I will be honest, I was very pleased to hear that is exactly what happened.
That was the physical side of your healing.
Yeah.
But I was very young. Looking back on it now, I wouldn't advocate that behaviour for somebody to go and do, because I genuinely believe that what you give out, you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the time, I hadn't sort of hit my spirituality when I was that age. I had no idea what I wanted to be. You know, I've gone through the Bible and, all those sorts of things. I mean, I've done all of that. And I've sort of dipped my toe in. I was kicked out of Sunday school for asking impertinent questions and all that sort of stuff. My uncle's a vicar, you know, so kind of been through all of those things. But at the time, I was happy that's what happened, and I'm ashamed of that now, but I accept the fact that I was young and I didn't really know any better. But it's one of those things. Again, it's another defining moment in my life, and it is why I'm a control freak where my life is concerned. Tricky will tell you, I don't like being out of control under any circumstances. You know, that means my anger makes me even more angry because I've lost control and I'm angry. So I hit a spiral, and that's what Tricky pulls me out of now and again. But I have to make sure that when I'm behaving certain ways, I'm 100% certain that that's how I want to behave. And when I deal with people, I have to be certain that that's how I want to come across. I have to be in control of myself, because it's the only way I can be true to myself, because it's how I dealt with things. And I'm learning with Tricky's help to let go a little bit and be a little bit more chill. I'm as I've said before, I channel my inner dick.
No, it's funny because I was talking to Thomas yesterday about how I was answering questions and I was talking and I was like, well, I used to be this way, but now I'm trying to be more flexible. So I don't know. And it's really weird to like look at yourself even like a couple months ago versus who you are now, who you are today, and how you're evolving. And I feel like it's just moving really, really fast. Like, I feel like we're just going through this process really, really fast of almost like just this change and wanting to change.
See,
that's because there's only 6 days left.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2.
Tricky and I disagree on these things, you see. I'm the voice of reason. I like to throw an iron into the fire and really poke the bear. So when Tricky sort of gets onto he's very, very sure about certain things, I like to completely blow that out the water because I'm an arsehole, basically.
And because it's so healthy to do that.
I love it.
I
love a good debate. I love a good debate, and I love throwing those things at Tricky when he's 100% sure he knows what he's on about, and I like making.
Let me tell you, Tricky.
But he does the same for me. You know, it's reciprocated. It isn't just one way. Don't think he's, you know, by any way browbeaten, because that's just not.
And don't sweat any of it, because we don't do it.
No, God, no. I mean, honestly,
not at all.
You know, I mean, there are times I'll shout Tricky because I want to go see him, and he's like, "Yeah, not tonight, love." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if he's not in the mood, I know. You guys have already said it. I'm a big personality, and for Tricky, when he's having a bad day, it's too much, and I know that. Don't take it personally. I don't get all upset and cry up the corner and fall out with him for weeks on end because, oh my God, he's chosen not to see me. How very dare he? Yeah. I'm not that precious. You know, I'm secure enough in our friendship to know if he doesn't want to see me, he doesn't have to see me. He'll yell me when he's ready, and then I'll go and see him. You know, that's how it works with us.
But that's a healthy exchange of energy, because it doesn't serve either of you if you guys don't want to be in that situation right then and there.
We've neither of us got an agenda, you see.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's no expectations, and this is one of the reasons why I like the pride, because Tricky and I, okay, the expectations we have of each other are honesty.
Yep.
Honesty. Pretty much, I think that's the only one. We've got to be honest with ourselves, but we've also got to be honest with each other, and that's kind of the only thing we expect from each other. And as long as that's happening, we've got no problem. And I'm noticing with the pride that every now and again a bit of judgment comes in, because people are still trying to learn how to be non-judgmental.
Yes, very
but
much
it is getting better. I've noticed just in the short time I've been a part of it, people are learning how to not be judgmental, because do you know what? Everybody's entitled to an opinion, and it doesn't have to be the same as yours, because you might not be right and they might not be right.
Can I just jump in on top of that?
Yeah.
And say that when each of you individually get offended, okay, a whole dance band doesn't come through and fireworks go off, or a wrestling match doesn't start, or any of that. Where you are offended is in here.
Yeah, it's so true. Look, and it's making you look at it. Like, look at it.
And I treat it with the contempt it deserves.
Yeah.
I grin at it.
Yeah, I mean,
I just grin at it.
I don't know what's up with me, but nothing really I really could care less anymore. Like, I literally don't care.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're getting the hang of it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care.
I mean, Tricky mentioned a word. I think it was yesterday, the C word that everybody gets very offended about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you. Okay, right. I said it. I mean, my favourite word, everybody, are you listening? I'm about to offend. My favourite word is cunty bollocks bastard. Okay? And that really does kind of emphasise any point that I just really need to get an emphasis on. That is my favourite word of all time, because it incorporates all of the best ones. Now, I got told by a man that the word cunt was not only disrespectful, but it wasn't acceptable. And I asked him to explain to me why you find it offensive as a man. And he couldn't answer the question.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, pal.
Yeah, my response was, you're telling me it's offensive because that's what you've been conditioned to do. But do you know what? The word cunt is a 4-letter word, the same as when. And when isn't offensive. So why is cunt? Because do you know what? It's just a word. And I was taught sticks and stones. They'll break bones, but words hurt you.
Share, okay. But hang on, you're on Thomas's stream, and we've got to be careful because this will be monitored. So,
hey, this is all part of what my thing is about. So there are no.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to get another swipe like last week. So
the swipe.
My apologies if I have offended. But
no, nothing offended. I'm just worried about how YouTube will deal with it because they're unreasonable anyway.
I apologise, YouTube, if I have offended your delicate sensibilities by swearing a horrible word across multiple.
Just don't talk about VOTERFRAU. Wait, never mind.
Is that Greek?
Is that ancient Sumerian?
Do you know what I'm saying, Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay, just wondering.
See,
the Brits don't get it.
No, the Brits don't get it. They're not here.
No,
that's okay. I'm not taking a piss on you guys.
No.
You're not taking a piss on us. Awesome.
Taking the piss.
Taking the piss.
No, you won't get it. It's funnier the way
he's alluding to the environmental structure across the pond.
Man, do you know what I like? I like the word wanker. Is that bad?
That's a great word.
Great word. Bloody wanker.
Wanker's a great word.
So good.
But what you've got to do with that word is you've got to massively emphasize the W.
Wanker.
So you go wanker. Right?
Wanker.
No.
Wanker.
Ooh, get some gusto behind it.
Get a bit of an ooh going on.
Passion behind the word.
Yeah. Melon Star says words have vibration. I agree with that. And I think they did something with our language that casts spells, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I first started. Like, before I came on YouTube, I had a podcast, and that's what I talked about. I talked about symbology, words, and spells constantly because it's been indoctrinated and subliminally implanted that we don't know we're casting spells on ourselves constantly. And it's like, it's beautiful, this whole conversation that's going on right now, because
I'll be back in a moment. I've just seen a post from somebody and I've just switched myself off, but I've got to run and get something. Hang on, who is it? Right, Jenna 713. Give me 30 seconds. I've got something for you.
Yay.
Bless you, Shara. Thank you.
You want to pull a card?
I haven't.
He's like, I got 7. Wait.
I haven't.
7.
Read the cards, dude.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Right, so the collective message, and Tricky, you're absolutely right. Shara has hit, I mean, every single symbol, triangle, good team. Where's the team?
I'm so excited.
All of it. I mean, the whole scope. So the message for the collective today, if you haven't heard it from Shara already, is healing the ouch. And our perception of things. Yes.
Hold on, I got snakes.
I have tonks.
You have tonks? I have snakes somewhere.
In like the actual proper, very expensive.
Yeah, the real Hogwarts world.
Yes.
The real one. Yeah. I just thought I'd post that up because Jenna posted Voldemort and it made me laugh. Sorry.
Voldemort.
Oh, yes. I think
he who shall not be named.
See, I posted a little thing up saying I'm on my little explanation of who I was, that says something along the lines of I'm the friend you have to explain to all of your other friends before they meet me. And I kind of think that explains who I am.
Me too, Shara.
I like that. I like to be different. I don't like to be the same as everybody else.
Oh, no.
Boring. If we were all the same, what a boring life it would be. You know, there'd be no interest, would there? There'd be nobody to talk to. There'd be nobody to make you think of something different. You'd all just be conforming to exactly the same. It's when they say don't drink the Kool-Aid, I agree. Don't drink it. Make your own. Make some hooch in the bath.
Yes.
Stuff the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Get some potatoes in the bath and make yourself some potato vodka and get shit-faced on a weekend.
The proper way. Yes.
You know, obviously I'm not advocating that people poison themselves. Please don't take me literally. I do not want any lawsuits. I have no money. I cannot pay. So don't come at me. But you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, do something different. Be a bit different. So much more fun. I tell you what I used to do, and I still do it now and again. I mean, I've decided to learn to knit. And instead of knitting all these lovely sock patterns, I'm knitting the most, I'll show you. I'm very boring. I'm very old.
No.
The most hideous things in the world, and I love them. They are awful things, and I love them. And do you know what? They're the most horrible colour, and I love it.
No, I'm getting so Hufflepuff from that, because with I don't know. Yes.
Well, I tell you, are you Hufflepuff?
I'm Ravenclaw, actually.
Are you? You're Ravenclaw. Okay. Well, I tell you what, after this, if you tell me what size your feet are, I'll make you some Ravenclaw socks and send them to you.
I would love that. I would love that.
Don't hold your breath, darling, because I'm still learning. It might take me 6 months to do the first sock.
Hey, but don't worry. I have trouble with breathing anyways, because once I get on a roll, I forget to.
Well, more like me, darling. Breathe through your ears.
Right, exactly, because otherwise this isn't functioning properly. It's too much in the giddiness.
And if you say to a woman, I can lick my eyebrows and breathe through my ears, well, you're a friend for life.
And the rest.
Well, Sharon, right when you stepped away, we were getting. I've completed the arrow.
Okay.
The shaft is being made, and the feathers are already here. So, but the way is healing the ouch, and then our perception to expectation is the commitment. I don't know if you can see it.
Hang on.
Ooh,
commitment card.
I like them rose.
The other one.
So when you were giving us your story and how your purpose is to help and heal, and we were talking about the gold and the silver and just your radiance, this was the card that came up, and it's that energy, that committed energy to even being of service and helping, but also turning that back to ourselves, allowing. Yes. So
I agree. You can't help other people if you're not right.
Right. The expectation is a spark, and it's in reverse. So it's kind of telling us, hey, all that love that we're sending out, flip it around.
You'll come back.
Yes.
Stop. You're so right.
You've got to allow it. I see so many people in daily life who don't love themselves. Ask a woman about herself, and I'll guarantee she'll give you a list of faults and the things that she doesn't like about herself.
Yes.
And not a single good thing.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Men don't want to talk about it at all, generally. But women will give you a list of faults. It's very rare that a woman will tell you what they like about themselves, and I always do. If you ask me about me, I will say, I'm strong, I can talk the high legs off a donkey, I've got gorgeous green eyes, I'm great in the sack, blah blah blah, and I will talk about myself till the cows come home, because do you know what? I know what my faults are. I don't want everyone else to know what my faults are. I want them to know the good things about me, because if they stick around, it's because of the good things, isn't it? People don't stick around because of the bad bits. They don't stick around because you don't put the toothpaste cap on properly, or you leave the toilet seat up. They come around you because you make them feel good about themselves. And you, one of the things that I've been told by people at work who actually don't like me as a person, they've all said, I make them feel better when they talk to me, because if they're having a bad day, after talking to me, because I make them laugh, they go away feeling better for the rest of the day. I don't have to like a person to help them.
That's true.
I just need to know that they need help, and I'll do what I can. And if I don't help them, I've tried. I'm good with that.
Yeah. That's actually something I try and do. I literally tell clients, if like, if try and say 3 things to yourself that you love about yourself in the mirror. And a lot of them can't do it. A lot of people can't look themselves dead in the face and say beautiful things about them. So I'm like, try it. It's hard for them though.
It
You
is.
see, well, it is, because do you know what? We're taught from quite an early age that boasting and being prideful is not acceptable. And we're not taught the difference between being prideful and being honest about yourself as a human being.
Yeah.
Because we think it's prideful. Well, I didn't grow up in a religious household. My father is agnostic. My brother is a total atheist, and I'm a bloody Wiccan. I think we've covered most of the religious beliefs between the 3 of us. You know, my brother is, you're born, you live, you die, there's taxes and nothing else. My dad is, I don't believe in God, but I don't think we're the only intelligent things in the universe, but unless a little green man comes up and shakes me by the hand, I'm not quite going to know what it is. And me, I've got a massive open mind, and I accept that nature is the most powerful thing around us, and we need to be a little bit more respectful, because do you know what? Nature's been talking to us for a really long time, and we've been ignoring it. And we are only now starting to realise that we've got to start making some changes. It's about 20 years too late, guys, but hey ho, at least you've heard it finally.
Yeah.
So, you know,
got the team.
You know, thank you. It's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
But this is the thing, isn't it? Pride is one thing. You can be proud of yourself when you've done a good job. That's allowed. You can be proud of yourself when you've learned a new skill, or you've tried your very best, no matter what the result is. That's allowed. But nobody teaches children that.
No.
We're rewarding children for being mediocre because, oh my God, they might have a meltdown if they don't all get a medal because they've run the race. I'm sorry. That just breeds mediocrity in the whole of the human race, because competition is actually good for us. It teaches you to strive and be the best that you can be.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
There's nothing to fight for, and why bother? If I can sit here and hold my hand out to my government and say, well, I can't be asked to work, so just give me 40 grand a year, and they gave it to me, I wouldn't go to work. But do you know what? I haven't got all the great big catalogue of illnesses that some of these people list in order to get 45 grand a year while sitting on the fat ass smoking and drinking my money. Thank you very much. So I've worked very hard for, because I can't afford to do all of that on the very, very hard job that I do for the pittance I get paid. Well, do you know what? Enough.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the job that I do because I do the best job I can, and I can't do any better.
Right.
But you know, there's a way to behave, and a lot of people out there aren't behaving properly anymore, and they're not teaching their children because it's too hard to actually teach your own children nowadays and actually be a parent. You know, just pop them out and get some money for them.
Don't get me started on my nephews and nieces on their screens.
Well, do you know
all
what
the
mine
time.
is?
I'm like, get that thing out of their hands. I'm gonna go play outside with them.
I raised my brother. My brother allows his daughter, who is nearly 8 years old, half an hour on any of her YouTube videos. And when I say that, I mean child appropriate. Because make sure she's allowed half an hour a day if she's eaten her tea and she's done all of her homework and she's been a good girl today.
Balance, man. That's balance. Come on. Yeah.
But that also goes for the weekend. Yeah. She doesn't get extra because it's the weekend.
Yeah.
It's half an hour a day, maximum. And when that half an hour, it's not 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
no,
I like that. See,
because if you don't turn it off, you won't get it tomorrow. It's called boundaries, guys. And there's a lot of children out there that don't live with boundaries. And that's the society we're raising.
I walked in to my sister-in-law's house and she was on her phone. She's like very, very social media obsessed. And she was on her phone. I went into the kid's bedroom and Miles is like really, really young. And then Jax is like 5. And they were watching this really weird YouTube video. And I was watching it and I started to get like really weird anxiety from it. And then I looked in the corner and they had subliminal messagings and it said something about demons. And I was like, the F are these kids watching? And he's laughing. He doesn't understand, he doesn't understand what he's taking in,
Right.
whether he knows it or not. But I was like, I turned it off. I was like, we can watch something else. I don't know.
See,
yeah. Yes.
Hortus, that's the type of gin, by the way. That's the brand. I'm having another one because it's Friday.
I've been having a hankering for a drink.
Go have one.
I know.
You don't have to get drunk. You can have one. You're a grown up. It's allowed.
I know.
See, Tricky doesn't at all.
Yeah, you don't drink at all, Trick?
No.
I don't either.
I don't know why I'm friends with him, that because that's just a very, very poor showing, to be fair.
Right. Thomas, do you drink?
I am Irish.
Or wait, nope, that's pirate. Jesus.
Yeah, I love the Irish.
Are you lucky?
Huh?
Are you lucky?
It depends. I'm quite lucky, I would say. But, luck has two parallels. So.
Well,
I would say I'm more so accosted by leprechauns.
All the time.
All the time.
Well, never drink with a Fijian because you won't be alive by the morning.
Gotcha. Thank
you. They're hardcore.
Or a leprechaun.
Or a leprechaun.
Yeah. Leprechauns are worse.
Leprechaun.
Don't drink with the leprechauns.
I learned partially.
Sorry, I'm just putting my drink down so that I don't throw it across the room by accident. I've done that before.
You're okay.
Yeah.
So what were the other cards?
Yeah, Thomas, you got a card?
Yeah.
Several. So, all right, we had the way with our arrow and the perception and expectations of such. Our hindrance to receiving the message and doing the message is the bone collector.
Didn't your mom get that?
Yeah, she did. That was her message for today. And, well, her message. I'm not saying for today because this can last throughout, So the bone collector, why it's our hindrance is because in all of this, it is reflective to self. And what the bone collector asks is for us to take a step back and make an assessment of our entire present. Take inventory of self, of situation, of environment, of emotion, all of it. Make an assessment, basically allow yourself to be in that void space and having the tendrils of the universe that you're all connected to. So become the Sephira and the web weaver essentially, and look at everything that your life inculcates. And when you take a step back just to assess it, there will be vibrations along those webs, along those tendrils. And the vibrations that are no longer, vibing to that highest good, because the ones that they're humming. You're going to hear that hum when you put yourself in this place. And the ones that are lower or kind of not vibrating anymore, those are the ones that you need to sever. Whatever the case they may be. It could be something good, something that was pivotal to your growth. It's no longer serving your highest good. So the hindrance to this is actually taking that step back, telling those inner truths, that throat, what is the truth of what we're doing? Is that the 8 of Cups?
Walking away from
the
cups that no longer fill you up.
Walking away. Tingles. I'm freaking vibrating right now.
I've done that since I was about 13.
Mm-hmm.
I regularly, what I call recycle friends.
Yes.
Anybody who,
Tricky like that one? Me too. Every time I see it, I'm like,
yeah.
Yes.
I had somebody in my life for 17 years who had 3 children, and she wasn't really that great at being a mom. And the kids call me Auntie Cher, and it was actually the young lady that I was talking about yesterday who said that she was gay and things like this. And they still call me Auntie Cher. I'm not their auntie. They choose to.
Right.
And I'm still in their lives. But the moment they stopped being children, I mean, I met them when the 2 oldest children were 2 and 3 years old, and the little one hadn't been born yet. And the moment he turned 14 and could understand what was going on, I cut her out of my life, because I made the choice to be there for the children.
Right.
And I put up with an awful lot from her over the years so that I could be there for the kids. And the moment they stopped being kids, I was gone. And I haven't had anything to do with her since. And my life has been a much calmer life with a lot less drama in it. I mean, the kids still cause drama, but they're kids, they're still learning. But, you know, they choose to still have me in their lives. And she actually gave them an ultimatum. This is the kind of mother that she is. I have raised these children for 17 years through thick and thin. I drove nearly 300 miles on a Friday to come and help her with the children, to get back in my car on the same day and drive 300 miles back to go back to work when I was in the army. This is the sort of stuff I used to do for her. And she told them it was me or her. And her daughter went, "See you later, Mum."
Oh, wow.
She then had to rethink her priorities and rethink her thought process, because the boys were about to do the same. Yeah. And I always said to the kids, you know, don't ever pick me over your mum. She's your mum. You'll always regret it. I'll always be there anyway. But for a mother to make them choose, that to me was the worst thing that she could have done. You know, what an awful
morally
thing.
Reprehensible.
Yeah, she's morally bankrupt. She always has been. She's quite a selfish human being as well. And the children learned how to behave through being screamed at and sworn at by their mum. And I don't take that approach. It's even now, I mean, Brittany's quite funny. She's got a lovely boyfriend, and something had happened, and she's hidden this. She lives with her stepdad, and she's hidden this from him for 2 weeks. And I walked in the house. I hadn't seen her for a couple of months because, you know, she was off doing things that teenage girls do. She was 19 at the time. And I walked in the house, and she went, "Auntie Cher, I've got something to tell you." And she just proceeded to tell me all of this big secret that she'd kept from her stepdad. And her boyfriend sort of looked at her and said, "You made me keep that from your stepdad for 2 weeks. Why are you telling your Auntie Cher? She hasn't even asked." And Brittany's response, God bless her, was, "Auntie Cher always finds out, so it's just easier to tell her because I'll be in less trouble if I tell her."
Right.
And that's how she looks at me. It's just easier to tell her because, you know, she'll find out anyway. And I've earned that through 17 years of dealing with her bullshit. And she has caused me some heart pain, that kid. And her mum, when she found out that Brittany was suffering from depression, her mum's response was, "Stop being a dickhead. You don't know what depression is. I suffer from depression. You're just attention seeking." And this is a kid who just tried to kill herself, and she went to her mum for help, and that's how her mum decided to deal with it.
Damn.
So, I mean, me and Brittany have got an agreement that anytime she's feeling that way, no matter what time of the day or night it is, no matter what day of the week it is, before she makes a decision on how she's going to proceed, she will phone me first and we'll talk. And then if I've said to her, if you still want to do it afterwards, that's fine. You're a grown up. You can make your own decisions. But promise me, because I will never forgive you if you do it without speaking to me first. So she speaks to me, then she feels better, then there's no problem, and she goes off and she lives her life again. And, you know, that's what a mom should be doing. And she never has done. And it goes back to the selfishness, doesn't it, of people. And the Tricky will tell you, I mean, we've talked about moral bankruptcy. on several occasions, because it's quite astounding how little moral fiber is out there nowadays. I mean, you talk to people about morals, and they look at you like you're swearing at them. You know, ask people what morals are, when, you know, or say to people, have you got no morals? And they look at you like you're a nutcase. And how rude are you being to ask them that question? And I sort of sit there thinking, but I think it's a perfectly normal question to be asking somebody who's just, I watched a woman grab a toddler's wrist and yank him up the steps of a bus, smashing his legs up the steps of the bus, on the metal bus, because he couldn't get his little legs high enough to step up on the step. And when I said to her, was that really necessary? She went into a tirade about how it was nothing to do with me, how she treated her child. And I said, but do you know what? If everybody allowed this kind of behaviour to carry on, what kind of a society would we be living in? That's not necessary. Help him, teach him. He's your son, for goodness sake. What is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it surprises people when they find out I have conservative values.
No.
See, I don't have any kind of values that I call political anymore, because I don't see the point, because I think they're all liars.
Well, I wouldn't mean, yeah, I don't think I mean conservative like politically. I think I mean more morally, kind of like what you were saying. I don't really identify with the political stuff, other than the fact that I really like Trump. But
sorry, that's my misunderstanding.
No, it was me. Conservative's obviously the word that you would call that. Right. You know what I mean? So that was my bad with communication more biblical as well.
Conservative, like the moral high ground along the lines of that Christ consciousness. And that's basically been this entire talk. So
yeah.
Shout out to Spike. I get you. I know what you mean.
Hold on, I gotta look.
Yeah, my mother's a waste of space as well, darling. So you know, I feel you.
They always put us with the most interesting parents, don't they? Starseeds and mystics, all of them, always with the most interesting family units.
Well, I think that's the mold. You know, that much lineage and pressure and the buildup of the trauma there is what creates those connections to that crystalline energy of source. And for that to be, the diamond in the rough essentially must be physically present. And, you know, we got Tricky, Taylor, and Cher here, so y'all are witnessing 3 diamonds at work. Well, with that note, cleaning house is our unexpected help to the message of healing the ouch.
So true. And your energy gets so attached to everything. I also would like to say that I pulled Capricorn energy, the devil in reverse, unchained, unbound, which is something Tricky's been talking about quite a bit, is that unchained, unbound energy.
Yep.
I like that coming out with justice too. There's something about the energy of that coming out with justice that makes me feel really liberated.
Mm-hmm. There's justice like this, for all.
Exactly. Yeah. This feels like freedom. This feels like liberation.
Unbound.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I've been feeling recently. And I know you've been feeling it too, Tricky. And obviously, Thomas, I know you've been feeling it too. I want to ask you, Cher, do you feel the weird shift going on in the here now?
Okay. Just very briefly, I suffer from migraines.
Oh, no.
And one of the things that I've had recently, I've had some real bad pressure headaches.
Yeah.
When we were having the storm.
Yeah.
And was it 2 days ago, Tricky, that the wind died down 2 days ago, didn't it? Because it was sunny yesterday and it's been sunny today. So Wednesday was when that was the last really windy day. And my head, as of yesterday, has felt really good. And this is the thing for me. I deal with pain in my head when there's shifts.
Mm-hmm. Pressure headaches.
Yeah. I can feel it too.
I'm still trying I used to astral project when I was a kid, and that has basically been beaten out of me. With the life that I've led through my father and other things, and I'm trying to get that back. And it, you know, it's the same as anything. When you lose it as a child, it's really difficult to get it back when you're older, because you form, you know, these very opinionated ideas. And I am trying to get it back. I'm trying to sort of tap back into that, but at the moment, because of the situation I'm living in, it's actually quite hard. So I'm just taking it one day at a time, and at some point I'm hoping I'll kind of be able to deal with it in a different way and feel it without having the headaches that come with it, because that's quite an unpleasant way to deal with it, to be honest.
Yeah. Sherry, if you've already reached out and said that I need to get to you offline for those shoes, but if
darling, socks.
Well, better for
I can't make shoes. Don't ask me to cobble anything, because you'll end up with
no. I mean, I'm saying anything that goes on my feet is a shoe, because I like being barefoot. So
okay,
like, I used to be just, damn it, boy, get those socks off, because I'd be outside walking around in socks. Like, look, it doesn't matter what's on my feet. If I'm following my feet, I'm going. And
Thomas, look what I have on my socks today.
Yes, loose.
My children's socks with my normal outfit.
I got it. But Cher, if we'll get on together offline, if that's okay.
Are you gonna heal her? Are you gonna touch her Reiki spots?
I am, if she allows it.
Yeah.
Oh well, I haven't been touched for a really long time. You might get more than you bargained for.
Hey.
Hey, same. I have no expectations, just all love and gratitude.
That's good. I think I've forgotten how.
You're making me blush.
I'm so giggly now. What do you guys do with that?
Well, you know, we play. Well, it was playfully. It might have been picked up in a non-playful manner, but I threw the gauntlet a few days ago.
Yeah.
And it was in gesture, because when I saw you, or when Tricky brought your energy to his show, I was like, instantly, I was like, oh, I know her and I have to pick at her. And so just your energy share is very much so in tandem with mine. And I'm sure Taylor can express the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I threw the gauntlet. I promise you it was in loving manner. It wasn't in a costing way.
Also, Thomas, don't take this personally, but I do think you try to challenge people energetically and intellectually. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you just do.
That's just me.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's still the warrior energy. It has manifested in a more productive way instead of a destructive way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with that.
Non-combative.
Right, but a duel nonetheless, right?
Oh, sweetheart, we can have a roll around anytime you like, as long as you get permission from your other half.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think that's fair. And it has to be in writing.
Has to be in writing?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Careful, you're going to be doing things in your sleep if you're not careful.
Oh.
And signed by both great-grandparents.
I haven't dreamt for a really long time, so I'm pretty sure that won't happen for it.
Are you feeling naughty?
Oh, I'm naughty 24/7, darling.
Yes.
You know what my problem is? When I drink, I'm very feely of a human, and I'm already a feely person. It's like, I will tell you everything. It's not a good idea.
when I drink, I get cuddly. I like to give everybody cuddles, and I will
snuggle?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll cuddle anybody. I like to give cuddles when I'm drunk. And not many people appreciate that when they don't know who you are.
They're just like us.
No, they're just the people.
Yeah,
we're quite prudish over here, aren't we? So there's a sort of we don't talk about sex openly because it's something that you don't discuss, and we don't talk about what happens to a lady every month because it's the stiff upper lip, and there's a sort of prudishness to
no, fuck that.
No, I will tell you guys what's going on, exactly what it's going on, and for how long it's going on.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. You know, generally, as a rule, this is what happens over in this country. So when they meet somebody like me who just wants to give them a cuddle because I've had a couple of vodkas, that they look at me like I'm a sex pest and I'm trying to molest them in public, and that's just not what's happening. I just want a cuddle.
Yeah.
Give me a cuddle. Come on, give me a cuddle.
That's actually like, if you think about it too, that's like a very like boundary breaker, like that you're just trying to heal. Even when you're drunk, you're trying to heal everyone. Stop.
And that's the thing, it's boundaries, isn't it? So when I'm sober, I wouldn't dream of crossing that boundary and physically touching somebody that I've never met before. But once you give me a couple of vodkas, darling, I'm anybody's. I'm that easy. I'm a cheap date, me. It won't cost you very much at all. I can get drunk on 2 vodkas and I'm done.
Me too. I literally could drink like an Angry Orchard, which that doesn't sound good right now. That's too sugary. But I could drink an Angry Orchard and I'd be like,
I'm guessing that's an alcoholic beverage in America.
You guys don't have Angry Orchards? They're pretty good.
They don't have. They have real beer, and
I
hate beer.
I have a vision of a lot of apple trees in an orchard, all looking at you, very, very scowling.
And that's what's pictured on the bottle. It's hilarious.
Is it?
Clairvoyant. It's fine.
No, I like cuddles because I think human contact is very important. I think people are learning that now with COVID and being in lockdown and not being able to see each other.
Tricky said that too. Like, why do you think they're keeping us so spaced out?
Because that heart space, for the uninitiated and the unenlightened, I would say. I use these terms loosely, so don't just bash out at me. I nothing I come across as is.
Don't forget, if you're offended, nothing really happens.
Okay? Right. Because we're not offended by their actions, we're offended by the views we take on them.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You are the one that chooses to be offended by everything around you. So the person who's actually offending you is you, nobody else.
Yes.
Take responsibility and accept that you've offended yourself and go and have a chat with yourself up the corner.
Yeah, have a word with yourself.
Have a word with yourself. That's so true.
Yeah, then come back with your big boy.
I should say that to people. I should be like, you should go talk to yourself for a minute.
Yeah. Don't put yourself on the naughty step.
Yeah. Go put yourself in timeout for a minute and then come back when you're a grown up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I think people really do. I think they're realizing that human contact, physical contact, is very important because as a human creature, that is very important to us. It's how.
Yeah, it is. Look at that exchange of energy.
But it's how we maintain. It's how we maintain our conversation with people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just the verbal, it's the physical. We read people's facial expressions and body language without realizing that we do. It's very important, the human body to each other. And I've learned to be okay with myself because I've been on my own a long time. But do you know what? Everybody else out there who have partners or they have family and partners are working away and they're not seeing them, they're really realizing how important that human contact is. And I said right at the very beginning when all this kicked off, from a military perspective, how do you control this many people when you don't have enough army and police to physically police it?
Yeah.
You make them too frightened to leave their own home. You make them do it for you. And that's how you control a huge number of people. You make them frightened.
I've seen the manifestation of Sun Tzu and Jung put together in the most, it's almost applause worthy in one way, just because of how well orchestrated it was. Yep. Because I'm sure, Sherry, as well as I do, how unorchestrated a military contingent can be. And it's happening so well that it is
laughable
because, where the fuck was this when we needed it?
The thing But the thing about the general public, though, is they don't understand what's going on because they've never dealt with this before.
Right.
So when they're told something, they don't question that. I mean, I don't know if the American guys have it over there, but in the British Army, we have a saying. It's called the 7 Ps. It's a very important part of your training. And the 7 Ps are, do you know the 7 Ps?
Not I know what you're about to say, and that is on y'all side, but we have it too. We get given like a little card about this size, and on both sides it is the Warrior's Creed and or the ethos, and then so that's what it is.
See, we're British, so there has to be an element of piss take within everything. So our 7 Ps are as follows: prior preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's very, very telling. What it's saying is if you don't plan what you're about to do, you're going to end up with completely the wrong result.
Right.
So looking at what's happened, this has been in the works for a really long time because it happened so smoothly and so effectively. There is absolutely no way this was ad hoc, not from a military standpoint. And I have called every event from the beginning at approximately the same timings. And everybody at work said I was a conspiracy theorist. And I said, no, I'm looking at this from a military perspective. Right. From a military point of view, I'm going to call it and we'll see if I'm right. And I've been right all the way along, because initially everybody went, oh, 3 weeks off work. Lovely. I've got a holiday. And I laughed and I said, we'll be lucky if we're back before Christmas. And they all told me I was talking nonsense. And here we are, just after Christmas. We're still not back. The timings were exact because I said, no, they'll do it another 3 weeks. Then I said, they'll do it another 3 weeks. But at that 3 week point, then they'll give us an undisclosed amount. They'll say a little while longer. Then when they come back, it'll be until further notice. And that's exactly what they did. Yep. Because they made people so frightened that they were doing the job for them. They did a beta test in 3 weeks and realized it didn't work. So they tweaked it. Mm-hmm. They increased the numbers. They put more fear out there. And that was the level that was required to make people stay at home. So that's where they stayed. And this is the problem. I'm looking at this from a military perspective. So I'm questioning absolutely everything from a different point of view. And it's quite difficult for me. My dad had his injection last week.
No, see, me and my mom were talking about that this morning.
My mom's had both first.
Don't. But
I don't know when he's having his other one, but he's had his first one, and he basically has said to me, "You're very silly if you don't have it." Yeah. And I said, "Why?"
Right.
Yeah. My mom had to have it.
Couldn't give me an answer. I mean, my dad's 73, so he's in that bracket where he has to. Couldn't give me an answer, and I just sort of said, "Well, I'm O negative. So as far as I'm concerned, the moment they give it me, my body will kill it off anyway. So somebody else might as well have it because it's a waste of money on me."
Yeah, I am too. I'm O negative.
Really? Cool.
Taylor, you might want to have a little. You might want to have a little look at a couple of my posts about O negative blood. Then.
Is it the RH blood type or whatever?
Yeah.
I've heard there's something about our blood.
We'll have a chat. I'll explain it all. Me and Tricky have talked about this quite extensively, and I've done quite a bit of research because it's why I can't have children.
Really? Oh God.
Yeah. Because we're not going to do it now, but we'll have a chat about it. I'll explain it all. It's actually quite interesting. I'll tell you what I know, and then you go off and you have a look. Okay. Find the information and do a bit of research and see which bits you're happy with.
That's so weird it's coming up too, because I was literally like searching it like 3 days ago. So it's really weird that you're saying it. I didn't I just bit my lip. I didn't go like too far into it, but I did know there was something up with the blood.
Okay, right, there's other people now asking, so what we'll do is we'll open up an aside conversation. People can come and talk to me directly, and we'll have that conversation and I'll explain it. But that's it's quite fascinating when you get into it. But you know, let's take that out of the conversation for now, because it's a lengthy conversation.
We're all about lengthy conversations.
True. And just to
not go on, Bob.
Just to I noticed in the chat about 5 minutes ago, people are asking about energy fields, people's energy fields, and I get to witness those very, very clearly from everybody. In fact, I'm even looking at mine, which I don't do very often.
Do you like what you see?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all right.
Tell me.
It's all right. I've got something distinct here, which is my brain damage. I can see that clear as
you can see the energy of it.
I can see the chaos of it compared to the clarity of the rest of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a rule, and what I see most, and I don't know whether it's because energy fields are being incredibly suppressed right now, is that somebody's energy field sits off them sort of between 3 and 6 inches. But I've actually seen a few people go way beyond that, and I couldn't find the edge of nicks. Okay.
That does not surprise me.
I couldn't find the edge of nicks in the video footage. So that means it's outside of that scale.
That does not surprise me.
It does not surprise me either. There's a very good reason. Oh, yeah. Very good reason we're drawn to it.
He's so amazing. I don't know. He's so special.
I think those people that are slightly more enlightened do give off a grander energy field, and I think it was White Rabbit was saying about they're trying to keep us like 5 or 6 feet apart. Yeah. I imagine that a lot of good souls out there have got a 5 or 6 foot energy field, and they know it, and that's why that measurement was chosen. Yeah, right, definitely.
Right. And with that is the base radiance of the heart space. Now the etheric field and the auric field, Tricky, I mean, that activated is much grander than what a computer screen can focus in on, but it's that innate heart energy, because that is what really pushes the rest out farther. The more you have an emboldened and open heart, not necessarily something that just constantly flows, but like how Cher has shared with us, that the open expanse of that heart field, and that brings on mentality, not just physical heart. You got to think that the heart center is mind, body, and spirit in this physical, and then the throat, the third eye, and the crown is what accesses this physical to the ethereal, and it's governed by the lesser three. Well, that heart is the key to both, and the more we nourish that, the wider it gets. And on a base level, it is a 6 foot thing. Somebody that knows nothing about this, but they're an excellent hugger, or that just one person you walk up on. Yeah, that's that heart field, and they have an activated one. It's just they're not keen on it, but that's the person you got to go hug. And Tricky, you've said it before, like that's those random encounters, like something. I just needed to come hug you. That's them radiating, and they just don't know it. So it's that type of thing, and that allows for further growth. And that's another conversation. That
I get to genuinely see the people I really want to hug.
Yeah, because it's
and Tricky, the people I really don't. Of course, I'll hug you.
I want to hug you so bad. I think about your hugs. They're special.
Bless you. Bless you.
He
I've
does
got
have-
big hands.
They are
Really
pretty
big
good.
hands. Big hands.
Talking about auras, when I was in the army, if any of the guys got injured, they used to come and speak to me because I used to do hands-off healing,
Like,
and I had to stop because it was making me ill.
Yeah, you can absorb it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not careful.
Oh, I was taking, because the problem is I don't see auras, and I don't know what somebody's like until I get to know them. There are instances where I can shake somebody's hand and instantly I don't like them.
Yeah,
And I can't
I do
buy,
that
but I
too.
know I need them to go away and I don't want anything to do with them. But that requires the physical contact, and I wasn't physically contacting. It was, you know, I was about an inch away, but it was making me ill, so I had to stop.
mm.
And that's all part and parcel, because I was only an inch away. I was within their aura, and it's the mingling of those auras that was making me bad. And I had, you know, I had a job to do as well, so I had to take that back step and say I can't do this anymore. I actually started frightening myself because I read runes. Well, I read runes. I haven't done it in many years because I got to a point where, in order for me to do my job in the army, I had to stop reading the runes, and I had to take my spirituality and put it to one side because I couldn't do my job, because it conflicted, massively conflicted. And I started telling people things that they actually didn't know themselves, and they'd come back to me 2 days later and tell me that they'd gone off and they'd found these things. And it got to such a degree that it was so specific that I had to say I can't deal with this, because I'd never had anybody talk to me about spirituality.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what this was, and
You don't know how to cleanse your aura afterwards.
Correct.
You keep it all.
Yes.
Correct.
You get to keep it.
Happening. That's what was happening. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what it was all about. I had nobody to teach me, nobody to go to. I had no guidance.
Nothing. Nobody ever told me. I was doing laser hair removal, and I had to touch people, and I was doing 12-hour shifts, and I waxed people too. And then I moved into laser hair removal where I didn't have control over my clients. And I saw about 30 people a day, physically touching them, putting people in pain. 3, for some reason, they were telling me everything. It's like if they had a bad day or anything, it was instantly on me. And I would get in the car and I would just start crying. I was like, I know that I'm helping them, but at what point, how much more of this can I even handle? And I had no one ever told me about spiritual boundaries. No one ever told me to take care of myself. I always thought as an empath, I just take it.
Yeah.
Tattooists suffer a similar thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Sorry. Hey, real quick, everybody, let's give Nick a wave. Charles is getting a screenshot for him.
Hey.
Yes.
Can we please remember he doesn't actually know who I am because he's not actually seen me yet.
Yeah, but your name's in the corner. He'll be like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
I know.
He'll see you. He'll know you.
He'll get excited in the jail cell. You know what I'm saying, Cher?
I'm speaking. I'm speaking to him in 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell him we give him loves.
Yes.
Of course. Of course.
He's going to turn that entire place into a bunch of lions.
They're already lions.
Yeah.
They just don't realize it yet.
Don't know it yet. I like that.
Yeah.
Thomas, you can say your cards now.
There's plenty, I promise.
Go.
So, well, yeah. The arrow has been made. I'll put it that way. Like, it's really, really beautiful how it came together.
So have we got like a backbone structure with
yes
feathers down?
We have the feathers, we have the shaft, and the arrowheads.
Okay.
Yes. So we know what the arrow is leading towards healing that ouch. Now, our allegiances and our help from the other realms that thrust this arrow forward are in this fashion. So the way I'm doing it is it laid out from top to bottom, but the arrow is released from this one, which is the knot. And it is the River Queen, she is a mermaid energy.
Okay.
But she comes in the form of a challenger. And, you know, her purpose is the flow and letting go and natural movement. And this is, I mean, just radiating because she comes in the form of a challenger. This is that moment where we have target on sight. And it is just, I mean, we know if we loose this arrow, it's going exactly where it's supposed to be. But we're having trouble with that unknocking. And that's the challenge, is trusting that our sight is true, and that once we release, this arrow will fly exactly where it's supposed to go. So, and you know, part of that is hitting those heartstrings. You know, this is an arrow from the heart, so it's not, you know, this isn't just some battle driven piece.
For anybody that doesn't understand the term knocking, it's when you load an arrow onto the bowstring and it goes click.
Thank you,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's knocking.
See?
Okay.
He's our gentle gardener. He's watering those seeds that might get misplaced. Thank you, Tricky.
You're welcome.
Like it.
So as it flows forth, we go into the Lady of the Mirror. And this is all about reflection and non-judgment. So
that's on point.
That is the middle of the shaft. That's its, you know, its thickness. It's sturdy. That is the reflection, non-judgment, and that is of self. You know, reflection of self, being non-judgmental of self. And then, as it meets the arrowhead, and the Swan Queen, which is transformation, intuition, and patience. Because once the arrow is flung forth, its destination is met, but we must be patient for the journey to be made. So,
yeah. I do want to say something too about the Lady of the Mirror too. Like the Lady of the Mirror too is also remembering with the extremes that do come with the moon energy, the storm moon energy, the extremes, and how you might trigger other people as well. And again, the full circle of watching ourselves and how we get triggered and taking that big deep breath. We're just observing versus acting. But noticing and being aware that you might trigger people. And like Cher said, one of the things about being spiritually powerful, one of those things is that you can repel people and you can make them really look at things they might not want to look at. So they might be instantly triggered by you. So just be aware of that mirroring process.
And
also
remember,
go ahead.
And remember that offended only happens there.
Yes, it's all mental body. 100%.
There.
Yes.
Because my heart knows the intention always.
Yes.
Always.
You're gonna be all right if somebody offends you. You're gonna be all right. You'll live through it.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
In the police, it's called the Bataris box. And what's the Bataris box? And what that means is your behavior towards me will engender a reaction in me, and my reaction will then engender a reaction in you, and we go up and 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 up. Now one of us makes a choice to take it down a notch, which means the other person will join you.
Yes.
So you have a choice on how you deal with the reaction. So if you notice that you've engendered a reaction in someone that's negative, if you then make the choice to take a calm approach, they will join you in that calm approach.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gets a bit boring yelling at somebody who's talking to you really politely and quietly.
Yeah.
So you naturally drop your volume to join them, and that you naturally will calm down to join them. So it's about making a sensible choice to bring them down with you without forcing the issue. Let them do it for themselves. It's actually quite easy when you get the hang of it.
Yeah, it is. It is. I had to do it the other night. It was weird. I was telling Thomas about something with my sister, and then literally that night I had to see her, and we've had a lot of problems. And she was so upset with me and so angry with me. And I just found that when I was smiling and I was listening and I was nodding and I was talking low and calm, she kind of started to too. And it didn't mean it was a great conversation. By all means, some of the things she was saying weren't very nice, but it didn't affect me.
Right.
Things that probably would have hurt me if I was amplified, they didn't touch me because of where I was at.
You're coming from a place of balance instead of a place of either of intention.
And I've never done that with my siblings before. So I think she was really surprised about that interaction.
Well, I mean,
it makes you feel better.
Oh my gosh, I have so much closure now, and now I can cut the cord. Like things I thought I could never cut the cord with. After that conversation, even though it probably in her mind didn't go well, but for me, it was all the closure I needed. It was so weird. It's exactly what I needed at that exact time. It was
specific for you.
It was so specific. It was so weird how it came up too.
Yeah. Can I address something that Victoria has posted? Because I know exactly what she's talking about there. She's put on there that she notices that sometimes when you talk politely to and calmly to people, it winds them up even more.
The glitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but talking to, I have done it myself, talking calmly and politely with a massive amount of sarcastic charm isn't what I'm talking about, because I've done it myself. I'm just confirming whether that's what it is, because I can talk very calmly to somebody and be the most facetious person you've ever heard. And I am simperingly sweet and polite whilst being the most amount of disrespectful that I can be. And that's kind of how I've read that, Victoria. So I apologize if I've taken that the wrong way, but I've done that myself. What I'm talking about, it's not about being polite at all, because you don't actually have to be polite with the Batarist box. Because I was a police officer, I wasn't polite to people. I was telling them they were going to do as they're told. I am going to arrest you. I'm going to ruin your day. And you are going to do what I've asked you to do, because I'm telling you you're going to do it. But how you do it is what I'm talking about. It's not. It's a case of I'm not giving you the option to argue.
Right.
And you are realizing that this is not an argument. This is a one-way conversation, and you are going to have to join me on this level, because you're shouting obscenities at me. But actually, I'm the one that's controlling this entire situation, and it's slightly different. I see Victoria's just confirmed I was reading it correctly. I know what I do know what you're talking about. The Batarist box is different though. It's not about polite. It's about control of yourself. And like Taylor's just said, her and her sister weren't having a polite conversation. They were actually still kind of having an argument, but they weren't yelling at each other anymore. They were talking at each other, which makes a massive difference.
Weirdest alchemization I've ever been through, but it confirmed everything like Tricky. I don't know if it's been on purpose, but my work's been kind of working out where I literally have been able to watch Tricky all week. And for some reason, even though I didn't actually process everything at the exact moment, because you're talking to the chat, you're doing the everything, I took things with me, and I don't know, it really actually, like, when it came to me needing it, that information was there.
It was waiting.
Me. So Tricky, thank you.
You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome.
Tricky makes me feel really like vulnerable.
What?
I don't know how to explain it. Okay, Thomas, can you explain it?
Yeah. All right.
I'll tell him.
Well, Tricky, she's what she's getting at is that your openness, your reception, I would say, like how you see auras, you also put off this aura like an antenna, and it allows for vulnerability, but in a safe space, because you're so open. And when you're vulnerable, it's like this, I would say, a free fall water slide, but one that's not chaotic, or it's just intense. Like
I feel like, yes. And I feel like
you're feeling yourself being pulled away from the chute, but at the same time, you're still in line with your intention.
And for me too, Thomas, yeah, exactly. He took it out of my freaking head. But the one thing I wanted to say too is, like, you make me feel very seen and vulnerable, and I don't want to show you the vulnerable stuff that hurts, because I don't want you to see that, because I want you to love, like, do you get what I'm saying? I want you to love the parts of me that are lovable.
Let me tell you something. I see you anyway.
Here I go crying again.
We discussed this earlier, didn't we, though?
Yeah.
You only want the things that you find lovable about yourself to be liked by others. But what you have to understand is people like myself, and certainly Tricky, definitely, we see all of it.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
It's
That's what makes you you. And
Right.
that's what is lovable about you is you. And you are a whole you. You're not bits of you. You're a whole person. All of you makes you you, and all of it is worthy of being loved. And you have to accept that about yourself, because I've not been in the group for long, and look at the outpouring of love and support and everything that comes every single day. Everybody's having a tough time. It's hard work. Everybody puts hugs and loves and feels and all sorts on there. And that's because we all deserve to be loved for exactly who we are. And we are going to make mistakes, and we are going to piss people off because we're going to say the wrong thing. And we're going to have a shit day because we feel ugly today, because we can't be asked to put our makeup on, or we haven't slept very well last night. Or we've woken up and we've just decided we're not very pretty today. But who gives a shit, really? Because as long as somebody loves you, that's all that really matters.
For me, what it is too is that I have not the exact same gift as Tricky, but one of my first gifts that you probably have too is authenticity. I can tell when people are lying. I can tell when they're bullshitting, and tell when they're faking. And I can instantly, someone can be super attractive or super appealing to someone, and I will instantly be repelled. I can see through it all. And Tricky, I feel like you have, and I know you do too, Cher, but as far as like the situation I had with Tricky, when I felt very vulnerable, the night before was the night that I was really having like trouble here on earth. Like it was like my 10 of swords, or my low point. I didn't want Tricky to see that. I wanted him to see me happy, and I wanted him to see me how I do see myself. But the night before, I was so vulnerable. I was so scared Tricky was going to see it. And it wasn't like I was scared he was going to see it. I didn't want him to see that side of me. I didn't want him to see how low it got. I didn't want him to see what happened, That's what it was.
Did I give you the information you needed at that time?
Not only did I leave that situation feeling like, I think I talked to Thomas like later that day, and I was like, I have this weird warrior energy. It's like you boosted my morale back up. You know how like a soldier, like one gets down, you got to pick the other one up. I feel like that's what you did for me. You like literally, I felt like my angels do this for me too, but it was weird having a human do this for me, because I am so isolated, and I really only do have my connection with my guides around me. And as far as spirituality, what you did is like you did the lift up that I normally get from angelic source from a human, and it was really compassionate, and it's not something I was used to. And you don't understand that, like, I feel really vulnerable. I feel like you like saved a part of me. Like, you don't even know how much you did for me. You didn't even know what I was going through.
Yeah, I did. The whole conversation was based around what you were going through, sweetheart. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given you the information I gave you.
Yeah.
We could have had a talk about. We could have had a chat and a talk about nondescript things.
Yeah.
But we didn't. I watched the change in you as we spoke, and that's what I was working on. So, yeah, and that's as natural to me to do that because I watch auras all the time, and so I get the task set by whatever it may be to go in and find what people really are. You see, a lot of people will quite possibly gel with this when I say that you are still under there. All the shit that's been piled on top over and over and over to suppress you, you are still there.
I just wanted you to see me like that. I don't know why though, because like it was really weird because I mean, I hate to be like super honest about me and Thomas, but like Thomas, I know you see every aspect of me, but like I don't care. Like I know that sounds weird, but I don't care what you see. But like for some reason, Tricky, there was something that made me feel really vulnerable that I just wanted. I had this like, I didn't want you to see the bad. I don't know why I was hiding it from you, but for some reason I didn't want you to see it.
It's okay.
It's because you knew he saw it.
Anyway. I was like, oh shit, I gotta hide it.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay to do that. We all try and portray our best selves. That's human. Yeah. That's about as human as it gets.
The weirdest thing though is that like I do love the darkness. It was just like equal love to the darkness for the light. You know what I mean? As far as like that process, I've learned to deal with my shadow self and all the things, but it was like
love thine enemy.
Yeah, but the night before we talked was the night that I saw like almost every single aspect of myself that I'd suppressed or that I've tried to heal. It's like it all came to the surface, and from you being open and for you seeing me, it actually like I feel like it's so hard to put into words, but I feel like you helped me heal that in a way that maybe I needed that help and I just didn't know it because I don't ask for help.
Exactly.
But you gave it to me.
Exactly.
I'm just really grateful.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And I promise I'll always try and be there.
It's like I have this weird thing where I want to help everyone. I'm like, share. I want to help everyone. I want to help everyone. I'm gonna help everyone. But like there's people like you who I don't know, you're just on this like, man, you're on this level. It's like your natural resonance of existing is just beyond the existence of all of us here. It's like the way you are, just who you are, the way you vibrate, it's different. It's beyond earthly.
Have you ever heard me shout yet?
Not yet. Still waiting for that one.
Yeah, you just exist in a different place, man.
No, I just don't exist inside my emotions.
That's amazing. What a way
I don't let them rule me.
Yes, indeed.
See,
mastery of self through Tricky.
Tricky. I do a similar thing, but not the way Tricky does it. I try and help people whether they want it or not. If I see them need help, they're going to get it regardless. It's just how it is because Tricky's a much nicer person than me. It's the only way I can really describe it. He's much more respectful than I am. I do have a difficulty dealing with no isn't a word that really comes into my vocabulary very often. I don't like hearing it because I will help people to my own detriment if they need it, whereas Tricky's much more respectful and will give what's needed at the time that it's needed in a way that people can accept it. I'm a little bit more of a bitter pill to swallow. I'm a bit more Marmite than Tricky.
You're the red pill up the butt, and he's more he gives it to you nicely.
Correct. Tricky hands it to you nice and politely. I ram it up your bum. Pretty much. That's probably a good analogy.
Tricky, you'll like this for all the energy you've been feeling. It says surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. That's like where you've been.
Do you know what? The only wrong word there for me was surrender because I didn't need to. That word
surrender to the sweetness versus exist in the sweetness.
You see, because surrender would mean I was holding up some kind of side.
Yeah.
And you're
like, I'm in the sweetness.
But you are, I am your brother, whoever you are, no matter what side you're on. And if you're a girl, you're my sister, whoever you are. And I'll treat you exactly the same as if royalty come up and shook my hand. That makes no odds.
Damn, who are you? I wonder do you know any roles you played in past lives? You're amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly not amazing.
Oh my God.
I've been aboard a ship with a sword.
I thought you were going to say a border collie.
No. No. I was definitely a fighter aboard a ship, a very hard, very tempered crew.
Valkyrie.
All ready for a fight. So that's the Viking in me.
Yes. You give me Odin energy so hardcore. It's like you have this extension of that energy in you. Like you are the extension of that. Oh.
See, I'd be quite interested to find out what you guys were in past lives as well.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas will tell you.
I've got a list.
Yeah, Thomas, I feel you.
Can I ask, how did you find this out? Because I've always been fascinated about my past lives and I haven't got a clue. I can make a list up if you like, but how close to the actual facts it will be, it depends on how many vodkas I've drunk this evening. So it would be quite interesting for me to actually find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how did you find out?
Well, since we're drinking, if you will indulge me for a moment to step away, I feel like this is a perfect time for me to grab a Guinness. But
definitely Irish.
I'll be right back.
For me, I went under. Have you heard of the quantum healing hypnosis therapy?
No.
It's a lot of people have been talking about it through, and my guides were around me, and I couldn't be put under hypnosis. They wouldn't let me go under. So I actually didn't have the same profound experience everyone else did, because my guides, Archangel Michael, are coming in as Merlin, who is normally how I see Archangel Michael. They wouldn't let me in.
I'm nipping for some juice myself. All right,
I'll
be back in a moment.
Oh, it's just the girls left then. Oh no, Thomas is back. Look, that's my girl.
She's back.
Do you really
tap into that divine feminine? We'll make it a thing.
Yeah.
When Nick comes back, Tricky and I had a conversation. And I made a suggestion. So he's going to sort of get Nick to set it all up, and everyone will find out about it later. But it's basically exactly what everyone will be happy. We'll just leave it there. Everyone will think it's a good idea. I'm kind of hoping that anyway. But yeah, I'd like to know about my previous lives. The problem is I once went for a tarot reading, and I was at the stage in my life where this was all complete and utter nonsense.
Right.
It was made up, and I sat down in front of this woman, and the first woman I sat down, and she was a medium, psychic medium, and she asked me a question, and she was one of those, she'd say something and then she'd say, does that mean anything to you? And I'd say no, and then she'd change what she'd just said until she got a yes. Right?
Yeah, that's
already I was it was like a psychic fair, and already I was like, oh god, this is going to be a waste of my money. And the next lady I went to was a tarot reader, and I mean, she must have been in her 50s. She looked like, a typical 60s hippie with the, all the gear and the hair and the beads and everything. And I sat down, and she sort of said, she wasn't looking at me at all.
Yeah.
And she had the cards in front of her, and she said, talk to me. I need to hear your voice. And she was looking at the cards. And my little brain went, oh, here we go. You want me to tell you about me so that you can tell me about me, right? And this is what's going around my head. And I haven't opened my mouth yet. And she just went, no, that's not what it is. I just can't read it because you won't let me. And at that point, I sort of took a breath, and I thought, I'm pretty sure I didn't speak then. And I said, what would you like me to say? And she went, that's enough. And she read my cards, and I've never had one since, because the next person I went to took one look at me and said, I'm not reading your cards, you can leave. So I've never bothered again. And I have no idea why that happened. Not a clue. But I was in the army, and I was about to go to Iraq at the time, which might make a bit of sense. So you know, I've never really got into that side of my spirituality properly. And I think it's something I would like to do.
Past life activations are going to be pretty big right now. For me, so what happened is I can't go under hypnosis. But once I worked with my guides, they gave me my visions. So hypnosis is an option. I know some people go under, but I mean, have you had any visions that looked like either otherworldly, that looked like past times, anything you've seen like through your eyes and visions or anything like that?
The only thing I've ever had is a recurring dream that is actually pretty horrendous and extremely graphic. And I've had it for many years. I don't have it all the time. I have it every now and again, and it is always the same dream, and it's a horrible dream, and I still don't really know what it's all about. I have discussed this with Tricky before, and I can't figure out why. And I think I started having it when I was about 18, 19. I might have it once or twice a year. And it's so vivid, and it's always exactly the same. The colors the same. The everything happens the same way. But that's it. There's nothing else really. There's nothing else. I don't really have any past memories. Certainly not that I can recall. I don't dream about anything. I've never walked, you know, into a place or been to a place where I've felt instantly at home and I know where everything is. I've never done that. But I am sure in myself that I've had previous lives. It's really strange. Can't explain why I'm so sure.
Yeah, and
I don't think that's true. I think because I was so young when I took on the role that I did, looking back at my behaviors, I mean, Tricky, I don't know if you want to jump in, but when you met me when I was 15, was I 15 going on 40, or was I a 15-year-old?
Do you know what? I blacked out.
Is your crown, Tricky, is your crown bothering you?
No, I've just kind of had a
moment.
Just kind of had a little moment, that's all. Strange.
Because he's so used to hearing me speak, he just tunes me out nowadays. That's what it is.
Oh my God.
No.
I'm joking.
What it actually is, and it's I don't know, I can't be sure, but I've got a very menthol feeling here, and I keep having it.
Yeah.
And it happened yesterday, and it happened today, and it's very menthol feeling here, and it almost, if I could describe it a better way, I'd say I am decalcifying my pineal.
Yeah.
Which is a good
That's how it feels. It's how it feels. I feel like as I'm actually doing what I'm doing, it's like bits are breaking off, like an eggshell. Very peculiar.
Are we all just healing each other at this point?
I don't know, but my head's just it keeps doing that. It keeps doing exactly that, and it's in the shape of a diamond.
Yep.
And the diamond is what I saw, but it's an elongated diamond. It's not perfectly square. It's longer that way, and it's cold. It feels like I've been touched with. Do you guys have Vicks over there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vapor rub. Vicks vapor rub.
I know exactly what you mean with the menthol. It's like a weird.
They put cooling in it normally. You can't if the light came in the way it does. It normally is pretty painful. They've told me before it's cool. They told me cooling. Because I've had the decalcifying process for a while now, but currently, right now, I don't know how to explain it. It's like my. I don't know if I'm getting a download. Hold on.
Asked, and now it's being received.
Yeah, it went here. Hold on. Oh boy.
Continue.
Yeah, go. Someone else go talk. keep talking. I'm gonna sit here.
All right, so I might be stuttering and lost in a few things because there are 3 active tangents right now, and that's going to you 3 for some backup. Cher seems okay, but Tricky and Taylor, yeah. So, yeah, backup and safety is being pushed, but it's yeah, we're getting there. Let me try to get back on this tangent. To answer some of what you were saying, Cher, I've had a plethora of experience, and talk like you're saying, talking about this, especially coming from either mixed backgrounds or trauma or whatever the case may be, more often than not, it's looked at in a psychological point of view. And like you were saying, the Army doesn't help. It really hinders, if anything, because its view on the spiritual is very much so militant. Like, if it can't be utilized for their purposes, then it is by all means snuffed out.
It's worthless. It's useless. It's not necessary.
Right. So my journey as spiritual has it started in the womb. Before that, I've had to. This has taken years to kind of inculcate too. But like as a child, as coming up, as growth, I had these knowings, I had these projections, I had travels, and it was beat out of me in a way as well, because I was looked at as weird and a little kind of limp in the wrist because, well, I was fanciful instead of physical.
Yeah, you weren't into your sports. You were a bit more of a
I liked
drama guy.
Competition. I indulge in competition. Yeah. But what type, it doesn't matter to me. Physical, mental, emotional, whatever, friendly competition. And then, it was forced upon me the physical nature, and that you had to toughen up, which I'm grateful for this, because if I didn't receive those beatings, I would be one of these snowflakes, because I would have never been grounded. Like, it took all that to ground this being and this physical body. Otherwise, I would have lost my mind to a very traumatic psychosis long, long ago. So just starting from there, I kind of put it away, and then I would open it back up, put it away, open it back up. And then it was when I made a physical manifestation against my soul's commitment, if that makes sense. Without getting into too much detail, I have a few times, but I don't want to go along that tangent and divert from the goodness of what's happening. Plus, the exposure that's happening right now, if that makes sense. I don't want it to burn.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Mainly kind of Tricky and Taylor, since they're channeling. I don't influence, right? So with how I perceive is more like gleam. So like clairaudience and optics. I'll see kind of into other realms. I'll hear other things. And it's been like that for, Lord, I can't even say. It's always been there. So when I did go to basic training, it was in the intention to help structure this being because it was a pivotal moment in my life. I was a fresh father and a fucking shambles. Like, I made myself worthless in the sense that I was a terrible father. Just because I wasn't there. I was removed from the situation, and without any upheaval from me, it made me feel worthless. So like in that worthlessness, a lot of just bad juju happened. And I let myself, I dabbled, I did all kinds of things. I let folks dabble with me. I let go of my mental barriers, and I exposed all my vulnerabilities in different ways. And that kind of afflicted me in a way. So when I chose more structure, when I chose like, all right, I need to stop wallowing, essentially, it opened up a gateway for me to start honing all of that, because when you're placed in a environment where you must focus on self as well as being a pillar for the whole group, right? Upholding, you must also allow that funnel to come down. I saw you, Tricky. I appreciate it. So in that, I had the opportunity to go to like a Buddhist chapel for religious services one day. And this is after I'd picked several. I went through the whole list, I just wanted to, and I was more cynical in my way. I was using this for kind of stretch my wings a little to get outside of the barracks, fresh air. So, but
did a little bit of that myself.
Right. So I something called me to the Buddhist thing, and it was along the list, but it was the last stop. And the guy there, he was a veteran as well, seen plenty of shit, and it marred him quite significantly. Like, he opened his soul to us, and it was profound. So his vulnerability and opening helped us be vulnerable and open. And then he walked us through his Tibetan journey, and it took us along with him. And that's honestly why my channel is called Spirit Tree Revival, because he let us activate our chakras on our own, do the grounding process, grow the tree, and be open to guide, right? So this whole meditation, it showed me who I was in this present moment. And it beckoned to the heritage, this is my family crest from the Irish side.
Okay.
And then this is who I've always been, but like it's the owl.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that's like who I've been, but who I was trying to be was this destructive dragon. And like I shape shift, I became the dragon, and I met many of my guides along the way. They were present, but they were not looking at me. They're like, you're not worth our time in this state. Almost, they like blew me off.
Right. Dismissive.
And
not the time. It wasn't the time.
Right. Like, who I'm trying to be, or who I'm envisioning myself to be, is not who they are communing with. So the dragon ended up meeting, and it washed across this vast wasteland. And this is all that, my wallowing and worthlessness had made. And it was the burning of things that, were the fields of my life. And as it came to this just profoundly ethereal grove, like, I mean, I've made that place a meditative spot, and it allows for cleansing and stuff. Taylor knows about it. Ryan knows about it. Rugops knows. Tricky does too. I've let people come to this place because it is a profound place for healing and cleansing. Mm-hmm. So it came to this place, and at the merger of the wasteland to this grove, it was stopped, and what was positioned there was this great white horned owl. And it just, it made the dragon a kitten. all that rage and all that fury started to subside. And it was like, look, you've basked in this too long, and this isn't you. It was the releasing of that warrior energy, still utilizing it, but it was a releasing of it. It was like, hey, this is the death of your ego. Like, you're not as bad as you want to think you are, kind of thing, you might have wings, but you keep flapping, you're going to kick up dust and blind yourself. So, yeah. Right. All right. So from this position, I was able to get a lot of, I downloaded a lot from that. So that became practice. And after that, I was able to kind of tap into deeper and more ethereal realms. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I started gleaming past human lives from that. Like the dragon, that is my Viking era. That's like that Celtic heritage, that strong natural warrior. And then this is more so like that druidic connection to that Celtic era. So like my shoulders hold up my lineage.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's going to be more tattoos eventually. This is the only 2 I have, but like the tattoos tell this being's story.
Yeah.
When do mine.
Yeah.
I've only got one. I have one, and it's my own design, and it's not what you'd think I would have. And I might show you all one day, but not today.
Like I said, no expectations.
Yeah. I've got to take my trousers off, so it's not happening today.
Oh, it doesn't have to happen today.
I'm too shy. Please continue.
Oh, fair maiden.
Milady.
Yes, yes.
Hey, do you guys want to hear? I just got my download in.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So the first thing they showed me was a field. They called it the Great Gathering, and it was almost iridescent. It was green and it was earth, but it was almost like rainbow. It almost looked like a iridescent. It's shiny, it's the same, but it's different, familiar but strange. They said time of the Great Gathering. They said how joyous. And then they had me, I can keep, there's more, but I got out what I could. Yeah. I'll have to keep going in just a minute.
Well, it takes repetition. I've noticed, like you said, some things can come in hard and full blast like a movie, and then it's the vague, outline, the vague.
Mine's the words. I think you know that, Thomas. I can see it, but I can't ever articulate it.
Can I just say that at the time that you were writing and so on,
yeah,
I was sending you an image of a great big multicolored green lotus flower that opened up and was all encompassing.
I wrote the flower of the heart center. You want me to read it to you?
Yeah, please.
Children, now is the time to rejoice. Watch how things change in the blink of the eye. Don't you feel every now moment changing? You're changing, or as you say, evolving. Moving into the new age can feel unstable, unsettling, but find your safety and security within the Christos flower of the Golden Heart Center. And that's as far as I got.
It is green is the green flower of the heart center.
Ooh, I'm knocking shit over. I got.
Yeah.
Well, fly away, y'all.
Yes. And I also told you, but don't worry, because everything will be all right.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
It's weird. It's like I've been waiting and waiting, and I have so much patience. I'm fine, but it's always at the precipice. It's always at the very right when you're close to your blessings, right when you're close to everything, where you're like, I don't know how much longer I can take this. And I think that's really where
pee your pants the closer you get to the toilet door.
I feel like the more warrior you are, the more like you're going through harder shit right before the initiation, right before the passage, right before the portal, right before the blessing, whatever it is. I feel like,
whereas Thomas would crown the last push.
The last push. I like that. Oh my God, I like that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I might go leave really my body in a second.
It's really cool.
Have fun.
Because
later.
Y'all's whole download.
I'll stay for a minute. I want to hear if Thomas has any cards. So.
I do. The feathers are basically the download. So but to finish that share, it's I've done regression meditations.
Yeah.
And some of them are very, like, have been very traumatic. Like, you know, that Viking, that Celt, I've been inside that body, and, you know, that was kind of reinvigorating that warrior energy within me. And it was, I told Tricky about this, I think last time, like, just that sense of awe and exhilaration from battle was so present, but like it was in tandem with peace. Even though it was like a field of chaos and battle, like the soul was at peace. And as I was getting closer to the culmination of this presence, it was leading to the death of this warrior. And you know, that was kind of echoing back to that the dragon and the owl. It was like, okay, it's finally been put to rest. There's no more need to fight, but to enlight in a way.
Oh, I like that.
So it was really powerful. But
good name for an album.
That is a good name. Oh my goodness.
We'll get Nick up to speed on that, and I guarantee he'll
yeah.
Hey man, come here.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah, it's your turn next time, Taylor, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just say I woke up with Excalibur on me. That was one of my memories. It was crazy.
Brilliant.
So our feathers, I'll do this real quick. Are like this.
Okay.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, I can't. My fingers aren't working now. But so they both kind of stretch along. The first two that you would be using to pull back on once you've knocked the arrow is the Star and Queen of Cups. So being like that true north persona, that following the star and releasing with hope and intention. And then the masterfulness and the femininity of mastering emotion.
Yeah, and the lightness too that is Aquarius, the freedom and liberation and the divine feminine that comes with the age of Aquarius too, if you look at it broader.
Yes. That flows into Judgment and the Eight of Wands.
Oh, I got Judgment too.
And they're both reversed, and what it is, you know, the releasing of persecution, either of self and the world. And then the Eight of Wands is, you know, kind of re-emboldening and having that, the mind is she's gearing to prounce. Like, you know, the wands are
information. She's taking information
she's almost. It, but also she's so close to, she's got her feet up. She's like in that track mode where in the stirrups, basically ready to lunge forward, much like the arrow. And then the last is the Four of Wands.
Yay.
And then the Five of Pentacles.
In reverse.
Yeah.
Is that reversed?
It is.
Yeah, that's going away from a lack mindset to seeing everything that you need is right in front of you and in your own.
And the Four of Wands coming together, the coupling of that loving intention and those emotional boundaries coming together and molding as one. And then we have the release. It's a beautiful draw today. I would lay it out and show everybody, but this has been a massive draw.
You got a lot of cards out?
It's huge, but
that's beautiful.
My feet are shuddering on the earth.
Yes,
they're doing that.
Beautiful.
They're literally doing that. My feet are shuddering on the earth. Beautiful. Almost like there's a vibration under my feet. That's bizarre.
I love it.
That's really bizarre.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Here, I'll finish with that real quick. It says, fall into my arms, and it says, surrender, holding the opposites and the extremes of life.
Exactly. And that's the releasing of the arrow.
Yeah.
Been pretty fun,
how's everyone feeling?
I hope it's wonderful. I feel like that is a good nudge. The arrow has been released, and we can go about and continue our journey as such.
I think regardless of what happens over the next week,
oh my gosh,
I think people, certainly within the Lions, have got to a stage where it's not actually so important what that end result is anymore, because everybody's made such massive progress in their own personal journeys that it's not going to affect anybody to such a degree that it's going to, you know, ruin their day or ruin their life. I think everybody's sort of got to a position where it'll happen or it won't, and we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I feel
together.
I agree. I feel fine no matter what the outcome, but there's like some stirring in me, like tricky. Putting a date on something is always so bad for me because I get so excited.
Right.
I get so excited, and I've been excited for a while.
And do I look like somebody who doesn't like attend to a little logic? Because
you would
I'm
never.
I'm putting myself out there massively by mentioning the 4th of March. But I'll tell you something now. Nothing has ever quite felt so positive.
It's
so right. My gut feels right with it.
I know.
Everything feels right with it.
I know. It's got to escalate quickly, though. It's gonna be.
It will.
It's gonna be crazy. I get I love that kind of chaos, though. Like, I don't know. There's some sick person inside of me that's like, burn it all down, and I don't. Of course not. Burn it all down again.
Well, doesn't the gospel say that it will be swift?
Yeah.
And it will be just.
Oh my gosh, it'll hit us like a flood, right, Thomas?
Or like lightning, either or.
Yeah, lightning. Dang. Guys, you guys are all so wonderful. I'm so blessed.
I'm grateful for this because the reins have been taken, and you know, I got to breathe today.
Yes, I'm very sorry about that.
Oh, no, please, no apologies. That was absolutely wonderful.
Bless you.
I have an apology though, because this could go on for days and days and days, but I feel like the arrow has been released, and a lot of healing. Brother. Yeah, and with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. You're more than welcome to continue, but I don't know. I feel like now is a good time that it's been launched. Let that healing work.
That's right.
Not beating the dead horse, but too much ointment, right?
Yeah.
But oh man, just share.
Well, thank you for having me on, and
thank you for talking, Cher. It was lovely.
Yes.
I'm not going to do this very regularly. I'll do it every now and again if I'm invited, but I know what I'm like. So
no, Cher.
No, it was great.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Love you all. Hugs and kisses. Okay? Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 And
it's last
the two of them. Right. Okay. I'll say. I'll bid you farewell, sir.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to be on.
It's always a pleasure. A lot of healing today, and I'm happy it's not just me putting forth the work. It was I'm elated. Elated is too less of a term. So
well, what I'll keep you just for one more moment, if I may.
By all means.
And I'll say, when I went into the kitchen for my juice, something reminded me that about a week ago, I'd said a prayer and said that if you need me, I'll be right by your side. Just ask. And I feel like I've got a little bit of extra pep in my step, and a little bit something more to walk towards, because it enlightened me that this is him asking, and this is me doing. So
yes, indeed.
That's a beautiful realization to have, and it kind of took me took me out sideways for a moment. You know, swept me out sideways. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know where I was for a moment. It was peculiar. But mad one. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been such a blessing. It really is. And you are loved, and just the love that can be shared when we all come together. And
yeah,
it's a beautiful
go and spend that love with Amelia.
I'm about to. She just got home, so
it's
time for me to
perfect.
Time for me to divert and then go be present. So love you, brother.
Take care. Love you, man. Bye.
Love to the chat.